What's going on, everyone? I want to talk about something I just witnessed right now. And it just made me just realize, well, it didn't make me realize, I already knew this, but just seeing it really pissed me off. Like, I don't know why my camera's acting up. Yeah, I don't know why my camera's acting up. This is fucking weird. I just seen this homeless dude, right? He was in a wheelchair. Okay, why the fuck is my camera acting up? I'm on my 5G. Oh my god. What's good with it? I don't know why my camera's acting up. This is weird. I'm on my 5G. I'm not on the Wi-Fi or nothing. But I want to talk about something I just seen right now, and it kind of pissed me off because it just makes me like it just makes me just see how fucked up this world is. Like, I seen this homeless dude in a wheelchair, and he had one leg, and he was in a wheelchair. He was dirty as fuck because he obviously can't shower right because he's in a wheelchair, he has one leg, and it's hard to shower, and there's no resources. And he had, it looked like his skin was infected, like his skin was black. And I seen this nigga months ago, and he smelled hella bad. I couldn't even be in the same area. And I see him again today, and like, I by the way he smells and the way he looks, I know he hasn't showered. And last time I seen him was probably around like October, November. It was months ago. Like, it was last year. I know that for a fact. And this nigga look like his skin's infected, and he's just walking, and I see people just walking by him, and I'm not saying people, because people got their own issues and shit in life, so I'm not saying people should just go and help them and shit, or even though people should help, but I'm not saying like people should go give their whole life and energy, because everyone got their own issues. But you would think that there's okay, this is really fucking pissing me off. Why the fuck is my camera doing this? You would think that there's some program or there's some type of resource that can, like, people who are down bad like that, they'll be able to help these people and put them in a place where people can take care of it, like caretakers, and give them the right medical help. Not saying this medical system ain't is shit, but it's like, at least at his point, he needs some type of help. But it's like, you would think there'll be something like that, but no, there isn't anything like that. People just walking by him, and when I see him, he's still able to make do with very little that he has. That's the most interesting thing I've seen. He's still able to survive within the cold, within this heat, and make do with very little that he had. And when I seen that, it made me just come to some realization that if you making over $30,000-$40,000 a year and you have a place to stay and you're complaining about the cost of living, you either need to do something about it or you need to shut the fuck up. You guys see what I'm saying? You need to do something about it or you need to shut the fuck up. And when I say do something, I'm saying, because you see so many people, like, it's like it's the norm nowadays to bitch and complain of how fucked up the world is. But yet you don't see mass people doing real, authentic protest. Not this holding up traffic with a bullshit picket fence doing nothing. We're talking about real. This is really. I'm gonna have to drive somewhere else. This camera thing is really pissing me off, guys. I'm gonna have to go somewhere else. I don't know what the fuck is going on right here. I'm gonna have to go somewhere else because this cam. I want to get this message out to you guys, and this is really fucking pissing me the fuck off. Maybe if I drive somewhere else, it might be a little better. I'm not even using the Wi-Fi. I'm using my 5G, so I don't know why it's fucking up. I really want to get this message out. But like I was saying, you would think, because you have all these people that like to protest and they like to do all this stupid shit, and all of this shit that people do that they think is protesting isn't protesting. All of that shit is just things the government makes you think you're doing something. Like, because people are gonna complain about life, but when people complain, You have to make people think that they're doing something to fix the situation, because if you just don't let them to complain and you just tell them to shut up, then it's going to cause an uprising. So this is where they have all this fake ass protesting and picket signs, and you have all these stupid niggers on the street holding up fucking traffic because some dumbass nigga got his brains blew the fuck out. But in any other case, that wouldn't be a situation. But since a nigga got his brains blew the fuck out, we're gonna go protest. But why don't you do a real protest by taking your ass, or not even taking your ass, by stop participating in these systems? How about 1 week, or maybe 2025, nobody files taxes, nobody pays their taxes? If there's enough people that don't pay taxes, then they can't arrest everyone. They're gonna have to negotiate and change laws, and they're gonna have to come at you like a fucking adult and not like a fucking kid. You see what I'm saying? Another thing, why don't people take a 1 month off and don't go to work? It doesn't need to be everybody, because we know you can't get everybody. But if it's like 500,000, a million people, that's enough people to cause a dent within the whole labor situation. Why don't you do that as an actual protest? But no, people don't want to do that. They want to bitch and complain. And when these people are bitching and complaining, the reason they're bitching and complaining is not because they're struggling, because nobody is struggling right now. That's what you guys got to understand. Nobody is struggling. When you see people homeless on the street who don't have shit, who are living in tents, living in fucking cardboard houses, and those people, they're struggling. That's struggling. Most people you see who are on TikTok who complaining underneath a fucking roof over their head, they got income coming in. Nobody's really struggling right now. Nobody's really feeling pain, because when you're really feeling pain and you're struggling, you don't even have the mental or physical energy to want to even talk about your problems, because you're actually dealing with them. So right now we're at a stage where nobody's really struggling, but you can kind of feel the heat. The heat is seeping through the door, but it's not, nobody's being burned. So nobody's really struggling. This is why everybody's so freely able to joke about the situation and talk about it like it's not a problem. Like when you hear people talk about the problems of the United States and the world and the inflation, it's almost like they're talking about it like they're in some type of group. Like, oh, you're going through the problem I'm going through. We're in the same group. We're in the same club. You get me? You understand me? You're mentally ill like I'm mentally ill. Oh, we relate to each other. Let's make a channel and see if we can go viral. Oh, I like relating to people who are struggling like me, and we all like shut your ass up, nigga. Because if people were really struggling, you wouldn't even want to see other people that are struggling like you, because everybody will be trying to kill each other to get that last piece of bread. You stupid ass nigga. Everybody will be trying to backstab each other and kill each other just to get ahead, because the situation's so tough. So this is why I'm telling you, right now it's not that bad. Right now it's gonna get a lot worse, but right now it's not that bad, because I see people on the street, they just be really going through it, like the guy just told you in the beginning of this live stream. He's going through it, but yet he's able to survive. You see these other people that got way more than him, and they're complaining like it's a problem, and it's really not a problem. So I'm right now, I'd say, like, if you're making 30,000 over a year and you have someplace to stay and you got people to help you out, shut the fuck up and stop complaining. Shut the fuck up and stop complaining. You're not suffering. You're not going through anything. Your problem is you wanna be lost into your desires, and you can't afford your desires because you're a broke ass bitch. Just because you can't afford the $200 pair of Nikes and you got to get the cheap ass ones at Walmart, that's not a problem. Just because your fat ass wants to eat Haagen-Dazs one too many fucking times, but you can only afford it once a week, bitch, that's not a problem. You see what I'm saying? That's not a problem. Your fat ass don't need to eat no more. Maybe you need to fast. Maybe you need to do. People just want to be lost in their desires. So I don't even, like, at this point, nobody is actually struggling. People just want to live a certain life that they're not entitled to really live, because they're not shit. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, ain't nobody really struggling. Everybody just wants to get lost in their desires, because when you look at all these people that complain about gas prices, if they had gas to go anywhere they want, they wouldn't go anywhere but just to go to Six Flags, go to Disneyland, go to the beach, go hang out, go fucking hang out with friends. Nothing's really being done but for their own selfish desires. So, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to have fun, but if you want to have fun, bitch, do it on your own. Don't sit there and complain that you need this and that. No, at least if shit was bright, then maybe people will be in a mindset where we can get this world in a state where these people who are so-called controlling it, they're not able to control it like they are, because they have, at the end of the day, they're here, they have to be here, because just like you're here, they I don't want to say they have a right to be here, because I don't think they do, but at the same time, they're spirits too. So it's not about saying, oh, we need to kill them and get rid of them. It's about, we don't participate in their shit, so therefore they can do their shit, what they want to do, and then we're doing our shit we want to do. Oh, I don't want to say we, because I'm not part of anything, but you guys and the human collective, they can do their shit they want to do. You see what I'm saying? That's really what it is about. But for some reason, people are expecting the government to do shit, or because, to be honest, I like to put I like to put myself in other people's position. If I was like in the government's position, and I had and I built this system from scratch, from the beginning, and then I fucking created human beings through genetic breeding, and I created different systems and programs, and the whole concept of fucking stupid shit like insurance and jobs. And then I had a whole bunch of humans fucking talking shit and hating while using my system. It makes sense to be a vampire and just want to use them just for labor and get rid of them, and you don't want them to live that long. It will make sense. So instead of bitching about the stupid government and their dumbass shenanigans that they want to fucking do, why don't individuals just realize what's going on and just don't participate in it? Do their own shit. Like, everyone wants to complain about the money, the money. To be honest, nigga, the money ain't your money. You didn't create money. When you have a bank account, that's their money. The money's not even real money. So everybody say, oh, when's the system going to collapse? When the money system never even existed. So at this point, money doesn't exist. The only reason it's still able to function is because people believe in it. You don't own the money. They can take the money from. This is why you think they can siphon. They can do wage garnishment. You owe a bill, they can just go and they can freeze your bank account because it's not yours. Even your house, even if you have a mortgage, that's not your house. They tell you be happy and own nothing. Oh, in 2030, you're gonna have to rent everything and not own anything. Where in reality, bitch, they already had everybody not owning shit. Dummy, you don't own nothing. It's already been like this since the beginning. This is why you have to pay taxes on everything. You don't have because this is not your system. The money isn't real money. It's not your money. This is why they can crash the money. This is why you're complaining about the price of goods, where in reality it's like, how are you going to complain about an apple being too much money where you didn't even create money? Who are you to say how much an apple should cost? If anything, you should be coming from the perspective that I want to create my own system and I don't want to participate in it. And if you want to participate in it because we're at a time like this where everybody's fucking dumb, then shut the fuck up and stop complaining and get your fucking money up. It's either those two options. Get your money up and be somebody who's a big player within the game, or shut up and stop complaining, or create your own system, which is the best solution. But nobody wants to do that shit. So that's why I'm like, and then I see the homeless dude, he's walking and he's struggling, and then they want, like, that's evil right there. When I see that, that's evil. As somebody who's just struggling who's a paraplegic on the street, and then people just walk by him, that's fucked up. But then if I go and let's just say if that nigga went and robbed a bank, or he did a scam against the government, he got a fucking loan and he didn't pay it back, they will say that he's evil and the whole world will be trying to get his money. Or let's just say he was doing it legitimately. Let's just say he got successful and he became rich just by being an entrepreneur. You have people hating on him, trying to tear his business down. Like, people only hate on you when you're successful and doing good. But when you ain't doing shit, no one gives a fuck about you. But then when you're doing good, people look at you like they'll look at the world as the world is evil because they made you rich. Like, you'll see a person who's successful and they'll say the world's fucked up. How has he got all this money? Whereas when I say that, I'm saying for the people who run this world, they're fucking evil. But let's just say I'm become a billionaire and I did it by just making money. People will call me evil, but this nigga, he's on the street suffering, and nobody will say that's evil at all. People will say he's lazy. That's why I said this world is fucked up, man. That's why I said this world is fucked up. So this is why I do what I do, and I don't have sympathy for people, and nobody can tell me what the fuck I need to do. Like, so you know how many there's so many people that tell me like, oh, you need to go find a job, you need to work, and like, nigga, shut your stupid ass up, bitch. Why should I find a job so I can be miserable like you? You're not gonna tell me. This is why I do the shit I do. I don't feel sympathy. I'll scam. I'll steal. I do whatever I can if it's to these bots and if it's people I don't fuck with. Even family I don't fuck with, to be honest. Like people in my family, not everyone, but people in my family I don't fuck with. I don't give a fuck about no one because like this world ain't shit. I never heard of Project 2025. It's probably some stupid ass Masonic bullshit that's not even important. I don't watch the news. I don't watch anything that's hip or trending or nothing. I don't watch any of that shit. I don't care about the mainstream at all. I don't know what Project 2025 is. I can care less about it. But it's not a dumb question though, because I understand like a lot of you guys, you just the only thing to watch on the internet is bullshit for the most part. So you see all these programs and these trending topics and these new lingos that they come up with. So you want to know about it but you got to understand any like 99.9% of the shit that you see on the internet that's trending is bullshit. Everything you see on CNN, Fox is bullshit. Not just 1%, everything. You guys got to understand anything that's popular, trending, you got to understand that's bullshit. That's like it's put there for a reason. It's like if you go watch fucking Transformers, everything in that movie was made in a studio. You can't watch Transformers, you can't watch Harry Potter and say the first hour of the movie was fake, but the last hour was real. It was a real event. No, it wasn't. None of it was a real event. It was all fake. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a movie. So when you're on social media, when you're on the news, it's a movie. It's constructed. The government has nothing to do. You guys are so caught up because your life is so busy. Your life is so I gotta go take care of the laundry. I gotta go pick up my kids. I gotta go to work. You're busy. The government, they're not busy. If you want to say they're busy keeping tabs on people so they can get intel, so they can know how to keep running and maintaining their system. They don't have nothing to do. This is why you'll see like certain times where like you'll just see certain things within the matrix. Like for example, you'll see um for example, people litter on the street. People throw trash on the street. A lot of you guys may say the reason they don't care about littering because if you litter, you're gonna get $3,000 fine. But then you say, why don't they enforce the fine? A lot of you guys may say the reason they don't enforce the fine because it's gonna take too much work and it's not that serious. No, the government has nothing to do. If they want to enforce that littering fine, they'll be able to enforce it to a T, and they'll be able to catch you littering. Why? This is why you go to Japan and other countries. They don't even have littering because they're able to enforce it. So the, when something is not enforced or when something seems like it's out of control and the government talks about it on the news, anything the government talks about on the news that's so-called out of control, they have a control over it. Anything that you know about that's on the news, that's on social media, they have control over it. Anything the government doesn't have control over, they don't talk about it. You don't know about it. You may know, like for example, like how you have people out speaking truth and talking about shit. That's something that they don't have control over. That's a threat. But would you ever see on the news, oh, we have an epidemic of content creators talking about things that aren't important and they're getting more views? And you won't see that because they don't want to make it look like it's a problem. They want to make it look like everything is sweet and it's unfazed, but in reality, it's a problem. But once they have control over it, then they're going to talk about it like it's a problem. Because at the end of the day, they have nothing to do other than keep tabs on the people. That's just like you work at a 9 to 5. Their job is to keep tabs and intel on everyone. So always keep that shit in mind. Always keep that shit in mind when you're just being aware of anything in life. Like they don't got nothing to fucking do. So I don't know where the fuck I was going with this, but you guys get what I'm saying. Well, yeah, Project 2025. So when you see shit like this, all these programs, why do you care if I know about it? Always think about that. Why do they care about me knowing about CERN? If CERN is so fucking popular and is so powerful and it's so government top secret, go deal with that. Don't tell me. First you tell me you treat the people like they ain't shit and they don't got no power. Then you tell the people a whole bunch of useless shit. It's like even with these news articles, like some kid got tortured by his parents and was dismembered and left under a bridge. They'll have a story like that. Like, but you need to ask yourself, why are you telling me? I don't care. Not in a disrespectful way, but why do I need to know that shit? Why don't you deal with that? Don't you have FBI? Don't you have these police force, national security, all these agencies to deal with that? Even when they arrest a person, if you arrested the person and threw them in jail and convicted them, why should you tell anybody else? What do you want to say? Oh, it's because to keep the people safe? Bitch, we already know there's crime. You don't need to keep saying that. So it makes you kind of want to question, like maybe they're telling us this for like a program to keep you distracted, which that's what it is to keep you feeling in a certain low frequency and to have a certain perception of the world. Because at the end of the day, that all the crime that you see is all constructed. Have you even heard of fucking North Korea? You go to North Korea, you fucking look at somebody the wrong way, nigga, you liable to get your whole family slitted in the fucking neck. Like that's how bad it is over there. So don't you think they'll bring that shit over here? Don't act like fucking like they don't know what the fuck they're doing and shit. That's why I always look at it. I always look at shit from a perspective like from a real perspective. And they're even saying there's even a saying people don't change until they hit rock bottom. People don't even change when they hit rock bottom. Some people don't even change then. Change has nothing to do with hitting rock bottom. If anything, you fuck around, you're gonna. This is why death exists. Sometimes the spirit has to just take you out because you're not getting the lesson, and you gotta like go do something else. Get the fuck out of here, the stupid ass fly. Fuck. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. Damn. To close this fucking door. He keeps coming in and out of here, and it's hella annoying. It's this out. Look, it's outside on my fucking window. Like it wanted to come back in, bitch ass nigga. It's like there's yeah, people don't change. Because what happens is you will say, oh, I won't. You say people don't change until they hit a rock bottom. Then people hit a rock bottom, and then once they hit that rock bottom, they still don't change, and they just create another rock bottom, which is worse, and then eventually it leads to death. So there really is no such thing as rock bottom, because once you get to rock bottom, you still have to muster up the courage to change. Nothing is gonna make you change just because you hit rock bottom. You still have to muster that courage up, and if you can't, you're just gonna end up creating another rock bottom because you're gonna get comfortable at that rock bottom that was a rock bottom, and you're gonna get comfortable there, and then you're gonna create another one that's worse until eventually it's just you're out of here. And shout out to Jackie New. She said it's even harder to change once you get to that point. Yes and no. At the end of the day, it's always life. Life is no shortcut. I agree. I know what you're saying, and that is the case. But what I've learned, and I used to kind of believe that, but let's just say like you were at a situation where it was easy for you, or you thought it was easy. Let's just say you had a lot of opportunities coming for you, but you didn't take those opportunities. Then you're in a situation where you don't have those opportunities, and you're like, man, I had it easy. Well, if you had it easy, why didn't you take those opportunities? Obviously, you didn't have it easy. It's just the perception and the illusion switched around. So you still have that same hurdle that you have to go over and muster up the courage to go over. It's still there. It's just it looked different. So it never really gets easier or harder. It does, but at the same time, it really doesn't. Because why? If that was the case, then why didn't you do it when you had the opportunity? Obviously, there was something that was keeping you from doing it. Just like when it's so-called gets harder, there's something that's keeping you from doing it now. Because if that wasn't the case, then you would have been done it when it was so-called easy. You see what I'm saying? What made you not do it when you thought you had all the opportunities? And then you may say, well, it's harder for me now, but then it can get even harder. And then you looking back being like, well, I could have just did it where I thought it was harder than it was previously. So it's like it's always the same. Because even when you get your life, like a lot of you guys say, even when you get in that certain mind, this is like they say, new level, new devil. You see it? New level, new devil. New devil, new level. So when you have a new devil, it's a new level. And when you have a new level, it's a new devil. It goes both ways. So what I just said. So you go to another, you say, oh, it was hard. I'm at a new rock bottom, but it's the same devil. It's the same. It's not no different. It's the same devil because the energy is the same. It's really not a new devil. It's the same devil. It's just meeting you on that level where you're at. You see what I'm saying? So it's really not even easy, because if it was easy, you would have mustered up the courage previously and prior, and you would have got that situation handled and dealt with. So always got to keep that in mind, because when you look at it from that perspective, it doesn't give it. You don't get your hopes down. Like, oh, I had it. I had an opportunity and I missed it. Well, if you had it, then why don't you take it? Something was preventing you from taking it. Why didn't you just get it back then? That's why I just be like, just deal with what you got to deal with right now. And when you do, and the good thing about it is, if you did miss an opportunity, but you somehow was able to get from a low position, let's just say you had an opportunity, you missed it, then you went down a couple notches. If you're able to get yourself back up to where you were and get yourself right, you'll be even stronger than if you would have took those opportunities and been with it right there. I'm not telling you guys to just go and fuck up so you can be stronger, because don't, if you have the time, if you have the right opportunity to do something, do it right then and there. But if you're so down bad and you miss opportunities, if you're able to get yourself up back to where you originally were, you'll be even more stronger than when you just took those opportunities. Yeah, you may not have manifested as much as you could have, because you may have wasted time, but the knowledge and the strength which stays with you for eternity, that will always be there. Because that's gonna keep you through lifetimes, and it's in your spirit, the knowledge and the experience. The manifestations and the illusions that you get, that's temporary. You can't take it with you. The knowledge of going through something and overcoming it is way more better than the knowledge and experience. The knowledge and experience of you going through something horrible and overcoming it is better than the knowledge of the experience of you getting a so-called gift or blessing, like money and material, from an opportunity you took. And I'm not saying for you to fuck yourself up and go and just put yourself in that situation, because you don't want to do that. But you go, there's always a good and bad to everything. Because your spirit's been here for eternity. So it's really, there's really no such thing as time. There's really no such thing as time. The reason everybody is caught up on time, and we want to hurry up and not waste time, is because the more you waste time, the more you're in hell. The less you waste time, the less you're experiencing hell. When people say, I want to hurry up and complete this, it's so they can get out of hell. They can get more into that. They can get quicker into that state of bringing heaven down here. Not because they're going to run out of time per se, just you don't want to spend that much time in hell. Because even if you're going to run out of time of what? Being a human, being conscious. And if you run out of time of being human and being conscious, what are you going to say? Well, I'm going to regret. But yet, isn't regret and anger and missing opportunities and anger, isn't that part of the human experience? So even if you were to run out of time, wouldn't you not even be a human? You wouldn't even have those emotions, because you ran out of time of being a human. Like people say, oh, I want to, you only live once, I want to be able to do this so I can at least get the most out of my life. But after your life, if you're not a human no more, then you wouldn't have those thoughts of regret and feeling like you missed out, because you wouldn't even have that, because that's human thought, that's human shit, and you're not a human no more, because that was your only life. So why would you care about, even if you did have one life, why would you give a fuck about missing an opportunity or not? You will only care about missing an opportunity and doing all that while you're in the body. But this tells you that obviously it goes on more because our spirit is more and shit. So I'm not saying for you to go miss opportunity, because when we because like I said, it's all catered to not wanting to be in hell. Because if you don't do what you got to do it again, and in a worse position, and then you're gonna experience hell. So you don't want to experience that. So this is why you don't want to waste time. But it's not that you can't experience something or you're gonna regret this or that. Because really, all of the shit you want to experience is part of hell. There's really nothing you really want to experience. There's something way better out there. It's like you're a human being, but do you want to be a roach? Do you want to be a rat? You don't want to be no fucking roach or you no fucking rat. But a rat and a roach, they like being a rat and a roach. If that's not the case, a rat eats. A rat, when you try to kill a rat, it runs away. So it obviously likes to be that. It doesn't want to not be that. When you try to kill a roach, it runs away. When you see roaches, they eat food. Rats, they eat garbage. They like that experience, but they don't know it's anything greater. They're not really aware of it on a certain level. Just like your human body, you're not really aware there's other forms and things you can be that you can't even comprehend into this world, because our brain, the brain organ is only perceptive to a certain amount. So the shit that you can be, we can't even be aware of it. Just like a rat or a cat can't file a tax return because it doesn't have the brain capacity and the wavelength brain waves to do that. There's certain things human beings can't do because we don't have an organ to do it. So we have to die and create another organ that's something that has nothing to do with this, and it's way more better. Just like you don't want to be a rat, you rather be a human. There's other things that you would rather want to be that. You don't want to be no human. Once you're into that shit, it's way more better than a fucking human, but you can't explain it because we don't have that organ, just like a rat can't explain a human. So it's kind of like that. So like that's why I say, like, you don't really, this place is hell. Just like you see dogs, they sniff each other's asses and they eat that disgusting ass food. Or in a rat, they just look disgusting. They're in trash. You're like, that's gross. There's other forms. When you look down at being a human, you're like, that shit is gross. Being a human, they're driving these fucking mechanical cars and they eat with their mouth and they fucking have a bunch of feces in their stomach called their digestive tract, and they gotta sit around in that. That's disgusting. They other for like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is disgusting. But we don't see it like that because we think it's normal, because this is the awareness we're at right now. So it's not. It's more to this shit. See, the news only shows you situations that put people in fear, but never makes us how we can change them. Yeah, they don't want you to, because at the end of the day, they don't have to tell people anything. The news, people should have their own common sense. When you think the news or the government has to do something or show something to you, you're just pretty much showing yourself how much longer they're going to be in power. That's not how you get your power back, is by having a government tell you what you need to do. Like, everybody should know since birth that certain things are supposed to be a certain way. But since they put a lot of shit in people's, like the shots, they put like all the little shot cannons in people and shit, and then they have the education system, all of that shit combined, it makes people dumb, and people really can't evolve. And then just this human body is not the same because they did a lot of genetic type of shit over generations to make the average human being stupid. This is why the average human being is dumb. It's not just because the education and the stuff in the fluid, just this human organ, this human body on a way is very dumb. So you have to be very spiritually inclined and do a lot of shadow work, and there's a lot of shit just to fucking I just seen some funny ass nigga fucking, that nigga's funny as fuck. But you have to do a lot of shit just to be able to get the knowledge and the wisdom that makes you, it's a normal. I don't even say smart and intelligent. Just you're normal. You remember what the fuck you forgotten. But a lot of people, they can't access that because they're just dumb. Cause just because you see another human being doesn't mean they're the same frequency. Like you may see another female, another male that looks like you, but that you can't treat them the same way as somebody who's on the frequency. Even if you tell them all the information and knowledge, they're more animalistic. They're more. It's like a caveman. A caveman's an idiot. A caveman's retarded. Some of these human beings, they're just like civilized cavemen. They don't have no knowledge. That's why you talk spiritual to some people. They just don't get it. They can't. Some people can't help it. They just is not meant for them to get because just they're aware. It's like you can't explain to a dog how to do your taxes. You can't explain to a cat how to go cook flambe and serve it on a dish and collect the tip and the wage at the end of the day. You can't tell a cat to do that. A cat can't even come an inch to that point where it can even think about doing that because it just doesn't make sense. So you got to look at it like there's some human beings that have that same faculty within their mind where they can't even comprehend certain things. They can't. They just it's hard for them. And even like certain spiritual people, like a lot of you guys, not even you guys, but there's certain things you have to do to even be able to get certain knowledge in there. Like sometimes some people may have karma. They may have certain blockages where they can't even understand spiritual truth without having to do certain work. Because if they were to get too lost in the spiritual truth, maybe it wouldn't be right at them. There's other things that they need to deal with. Just like when they people talk about money, how it's a currency, and you need to focus on other things that don't have nothing to do with money before you get money. It can go like that with spirituality. There's certain things you have to focus on that's more important to get you into that frequency to be able to retain and get access to spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in la la land, or you'll probably use witchcraft for negative, nefarious purposes. So the spirit will keep that away from you and make you not understand and grasp certain things. Like, because the way the nervous system and the brain works is you're getting the information, but it's not registering. Like even me, when I started doing yoga and fasting and qigong, I will watch videos, or I will analyze people that have been doing the same thing for years of my life, but I will get different information for them because my mind was much more clear to get the information. But years ago, I would see them doing the same thing, or I'll see a certain video and I didn't pick up on certain things. Even within my life, I would just sit there and be in meditation and come to realizations of my life. Be like, oh, I did this before. I remember I kept making this mistake. And when I made this mistake, this person would show up and this would happen. I will be able to look at my life and pick up on shit that I didn't notice before. As I was clearing certain blockages, doing my fast Qigong yoga, even to the point where how I'm able to relay information to you guys. I wasn't able to relay information like I was years ago, like how I am now. Because a lot of it is like stuff that I remember spiritually. And not saying I'm fully there, because it's an ongoing process. I'm always growing every day. It's always going. Even the next 5-10 years, I won't be the same as I am now. I will be somewhere different because it's always an ongoing process. So you just gotta really always keep that in mind. But like you said, the news show situation, don't watch the news at all. If I even watch the news, it's for entertainment. And shit, I don't even watch that shit for entertainment. But like if I'm going to, it would be for entertainment because it's all fake. It's all a theater. It's all staged. Because right now, there's a lot of distractions right now because the world's about to change. They're about to switch up a lot of shit, especially with the money. Because a lot of things are happening financially. There's a lot of things that are happening behind closed doors. Just like you have then you go to a prison yard and you see everybody on a prison yard. Everybody's doing their business. Everybody's talking, chilling. But behind the scenes, there's the politics. This person don't fuck with this group. That person's about to get hit next week because the guy sent a kite and they got the drop. This nigga has all the commissary and he's being extorted by this nigga. And this nigga had this nigga's bitch kill out. Like, it's politics behind the scene. But when you go in a prison yard, all you just see is a bunch of niggas working out, lifting weights, and then you may see a nigga get his ass beat and get stabbed, and you may say, "Oh, nigga got stabbed in prison. It's dangerous." But you don't understand. This nigga got his bitch killed on the outside because he sent this nigga 10,000 commissary, and he had somebody outside do it. So now they got beef and they got fun. But you don't know that because that's behind the scene. You just see a nigga get stacked. So right now something's going on behind the scene. A lot of things financially, politically, which is why inflation is going up and all these other fucking things are going up. And they're gonna be bringing out like digital currency and all this shit. And it's about to be a lot of shit going on, and a lot of people are gonna be in for a rude awakening. Because you gotta understand, like the universe always gives you tests. The tests never end. So a lot of people that are doing good right now, doing up, got money, and they shit. They got everyone gets a test. Don't think that this person's doing good and he's on a high level. Then tests come from everybody. Even a lot of these celebrities. A lot of these celebrities who sold they soul, they about to get all their money taken. They about to get fucked up. Why you think I see a lot of these celebrities with a lot of cases? A lot of these celebrities are about to get thrown under the bus. They're about to go through. They're gonna be robbing a lot of these celebrities and fucking them over. They're gonna be finding cases on them, like the P Diddy thing. That's one instance. The reason P Diddy is listen. The reason P Diddy's going down has nothing to do because he beat that bitch's ass on camera. Has nothing to do with sex trafficking. It has something to do with things behind the closed doors that have nothing to do with that. But they're using this as an excuse to take him down and it's not even because he really just pissed somebody off. They're really trying to take down a lot of these celebrities because they're trying to rob them and take their money, and because they don't need the celebrities no more. They use them. We're coming into a time where the celebrities, they don't even have power. Content creators got more power. So at this point, all these celebrities with all this money, they don't need them anymore. So they're gonna you may start seeing a lot of scandals on a lot of celebrities. A lot of them will start losing their money. They're gonna start going through litigations. All of a sudden, they got a lawsuit. They got fucking like millions of dollars get sued. They lose millions of dollars from a lawsuit. Like a lot of their shit's about to get fucked up. So like, this is why like you guys gotta be like, because we're going into a different time, and they're gonna be releasing a lot of these digital currency. But before they release digital currency, it's gonna be like a huge ass financial event. Like a lot of people gonna end up probably losing money in the bank. They're gonna probably be robbing taking people's money from the bank, or it's gonna be some type of hack where it's gonna be something, and then it's gonna force everybody into that central digital bank thing, because they're gonna bring that shit out next. I don't know when. It's not even about when, because right now, because you gotta understand, this whole corporation, U.S. It's like a criminal organization. Just like you have the mafia, you have the cartel. The U.S. government, the system, the IRS, they're criminal organizations. They're the number one criminal. They're the most. They're like the top criminal. Like they said, the most wanted. The FBI, the DEA, they're the most wanted. They created the most wanted. That's how fucking high that they are on the criminal ladder. So all of that whole system it's about to be like it's all coming down. Like it does, because it's not authentic. So when you see all this inflation and the money system going down, it's like it's really is the money isn't real, it's fake, it's a bullshit system. So anything that's not authentic has to fall. If you're a fake person, eventually you're gonna be exposed. The money system is all bullshit, so obviously it's not gonna end right. So this shit's all gonna come, it's gonna come collapsing. A lot of people, they don't understand. It's just all gonna come collapsing, and they're gonna stage something, and they're gonna bring out that digital currency. And then once they bring that shit out, it's gonna open up a whole industry of hackers and corruption. Because now, once they bring that digital currency, your money's going to be tied to that money. So they can just tax. When any type of money you have, they can just go in your bank and just take it from you way more quicker. And to be honest, it really, like, at the end of the day, they always could have done this. Like, don't think that they're taking away the dollar and like the dollar's good, because all of it's still money. Like at the end of the day, that dollar It has a bunch of dead ass presidents that you don't fuck with. So for them taking away the dollar, that's not a bad thing, nigga. Fuck that dollar. I don't fuck with those stupid crackers on that dollar bill. I don't fuck with them. You can burn that shit. So digital currency at the end of the day, I don't give a shit about that. That's not a problem. Don't look at it like, oh, it's not good, but at the same time, it's no different because it's still their money. Nigga, fuck all their money. Digital, dollar, gold, silver, fuck all that shit. So if they want to switch it up, okay, you switched it up. Okay, I don't like I still don't fuck with it. But at the end of the day, we still gotta use it. You don't want to use the dollar and money. You hate that, but you still use it. So the digital, you're just gonna have to use it and just move around a different way. Because they really people already been using digital when they had the credit cards and shit. That's just digital. All you niggas were already using it. Most people use their card more than cash nowadays. So everybody's already on digital. Anything you bought with a credit card, they already have it in a ledger of what you bought for like in a storage. So they know everything, all your purchases. So it's like, who really gives a fuck? And they're gonna force everyone to use it because nobody's gonna want to use it. So they're gonna have to force everyone, and when they have to force everyone, then that means they're gonna have to do some type of financial collapse or event, which is gonna be staged. So any type of financial collapse, it's actually staged. Because what you guys understand, as the years go on, things are gonna get a lot more worse. I don't even know if they're gonna get better anytime soon. Because every time I go into the store, I see like I went and got some soap yesterday. I got some soap yesterday. Where is it? I got this Dawn dish detergent soap. I didn't buy it, but I got this just 3 months ago when I went to the store and got it. They had the container. I wish I just threw away the container because I used it. But I had opened this, right, or I had bought it, and it was a lot bigger, and it was the same price. I went there. Yeah, this was like not even last year, like probably 4 months ago. I just went there yesterday, got this. It was the same price, and look how small this shit is. And it doesn't even smell the same. It smells cheap. Like they put a different type of, they put a cheaper fragrance in it. So everything is just is shrinking. So you guys gotta understand, it's gotta get to a tipping point where something is gotta like, it's gotta be, because I'm seeing it on every fucking product. I see it. Even when I went and got an iPad, I had an iPad, right? My iPad I had. I was gonna go to Target. I bought an iPad. I was gonna switch it out, and I switched it out. But when I went there, I guess they had the serial number on the receipt, so they're like, "Oh, this is the wrong iPad." And I was like, "Oh, it's the wrong iPad? Are you sure?" They're like, "Yeah, it's the wrong one." I just went back and I took it back. But when I used the iPad, right, I returned it and got my money. So them bitch ass niggas still lost money because I opened that shit. And when they fucking before I gave it to them, I fucking wiped my ass with it and I put it in the thing so they can deal with that shit. Because I was hella pissed that they didn't take it, so I wiped my ass with the iPad and I put it in the fucking thing. So the bitch touched my fucking this shit in my ass and all that other shit. Fuck those stupid ass niggas. So I wait and I returned it. And when I was using the iPad, the fucking the material, everything about the iPad sucked. The only thing that was good, this was the new one, the new iPad Air. I had the one that was a previous generation. The only thing good about the new iPad Air was the fact that it was a little quicker, and they were gonna charge. It was still the same. Actually, they were gonna charge $100 more than the one I had, and it was just a little quicker, and that was it. Everything else was actually worse. The screen was actually smaller. And the camera, you guys see how the camera I'm facing you guys like this? It was on the side, so you can only make videos on the side. And it was just horrible. I was thinking about not even doing it, but then I was like, nah, fuck it. I already did it. Let me just do it. But then the bitch checked the serial number. She's like, oh, it's not the right one. So I just came and returned it and shit. And I got my shit back. So I'm like, even with the technology, it's getting cheaper. But the only thing good about the technology is they can't make it cheaper to the point where it's not working properly. Because so this is why the chip and the processing power is quicker. That's the only thing that makes the new technology really better. But the material and how it's designed is actually equivalent or shittier than the previous gen. So this is why I say like everything is just going down. And it's like I see this with everything, clothing, with fucking food. A lot of people just say it's with food. It's with literally everything in the fucking matrix. The cars, like they deliberately make the cars shitty. They'll deliberately make the car shitty to save money. And then when too many people complain about it, then they'll come and do like a rebate, or they'll be like, oh, we'll give you money, or they get sued or some other dumbass shit. But in the amount of money that they make and the amount of money that the lawsuit that people get from the lawsuit is very minuscule. So they made a pharmacy or a car company made probably billions of dollars, but then the lawsuit's only like fucking 20 million or some shit. And it's not even, it's a class action. So mainly the fucking lawyer gets the money and everybody else gets chump change. Or they get a few $1,000s, or they get their vehicle repaired, or they get a new vehicle. Some shit that doesn't equate to how much they already fucked over and made off people. So fuck these niggas, man. Like, that's why I don't have no, I hate this system. I hate this fucking, like, fuck these niggas. Somebody said our people are deeply rooted with certain mentalities that shape their subconscious and creating stimuli. But yeah, it's got to take a while. Exactly. People are deeply rooted with certain. It's got to take more than one lifetime. Some people can't get it in this lifetime. And don't even worry about it. It's not even really a problem. Because we're at a time right now where, remember when I told you guys last year, when once Saturn goes into Pisces, you're not going to be able to tell people um, anything. Everybody is going to believe, because everyone's going to be stuck in their own delusions. You can't teach anybody or tell anyone shit. And it's only going to get worse from here on out. Especially when, like, down the line, once Pluto gets into Pisces. But right now, everybody's stuck in their own bullshit. Everybody thinks they know everything. Like me, it may come off like I think I know everything, but I'm always receptive to my environment. I can learn from a homeless person. I can learn from a bot. And when I say I can learn from them, not what they tell me, but their actions. I'm always observing life. Like I read life like a book. Because all a book is something that you're aware of, that you're comprehending. You're aware of something and you're able to comprehend. That's really what a book, the energy behind a book. You be aware of some type of wording, literature. The literature and the words is something the Masons made up. But the concept of you being aware and comprehending whatever it is in front of you, that's like, you could call that a book. So I look at life like a book. Every day I'm always observing, analyzing situations. And if you really are tap into it, and this is why people tell you to journal. When you write down what happened to your day and you're able to see, and like me, I don't really journal as much what happens in my day, which I'm going to start doing a lot more. But when I notice, like, I can see patterns. I see patterns in life and in certain people. It even gets down to a point where there's this one. I remember in high school there was this one guy I knew. He looked a certain way and he talked a certain way, and then he had a fucking like a brother, and his brother had like I think his name was Armando, and then fast forward like 10 years later, I seen the same dude, a dude that looked like him and sound like him, and he had a fucking dad. His name was Armando. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's weird shit. You'll see weird things, and people will do certain things. You like, oh, like another thing. I was doing my eBay. I sell items on eBay, right? And this was like, because I started selling it May 2nd last month. In a couple weeks, some guy ordered something for me. And as soon as he purchased it for me, he's like, I want a refund. No, as soon as he purchased it and I sent it to the post office. And as soon as I sent it off, he's like, I want a refund because you didn't send me my product that I ordered from you 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You never ordered from me. I just opened up this eBay account. And coincidentally, the day that he said that I didn't send him the product was the same day I opened up the thing. So he was horrible at lying. I was like, I literally opened up this account the same day that you had this problem. He's like, well, I'm gonna call eBay and whatever. Come to find out, like, he was bullshitting. I don't know why he did it, because he never claimed to get he never got a refund from me. But the thing is, that day I missed 2 orders. I forgot to send 2 orders. I had 4 orders come in. I only sent 2. 2 days later, somebody messages me. Did you send my order? I checked. I was like, oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. And the day that I forgot to send the order was the day that guy tried to pull that scam on me. And the scam was that I didn't send the order. So I feel like the universe was, because I forgot to send it. And the universe or the spirit was trying to send clues to say, hey, you forgot, because I was like, I would never forget to send an order. But the day that he sent that, I forgot 2 orders. And 2 days after I settled the dispute with that guy, and he didn't get his money back because I sent the product to him and nothing went of it. But 2 days later, I ended up realizing that I forgot to send 2 orders. And those orders happened on the day that guy tried to lie about me, saying that I didn't send him those orders. It was May 17th that he sent me a message saying I didn't send the orders. And that was the same day, May 17th, that I forgot 2 orders. But I didn't figure out that I forgot the 2 orders till like May 19th or May 20th. So that was so weird. So it's like the reason that he even messaged me, I feel, was the spirit working through him to remind me that you forgot to send 2 orders. But I didn't get the hint. So I wait, like, once May 20th came, those people asked me, did you send my order? It's saying that you didn't send it. It's still saying the post office didn't receive it. I look back, and in the orders I forgot to send. That was a weird ass synchronicity. Like, what are the odds of that happening? That's crazy. So, like, this is why you want to be always aware of your environment. Anything that happens to you in life, you always gotta fucking, like, yesterday I went to fucking Starbucks. I asked the bitch for 4 cups of ice. The bitch just sitting there like, she gave me 1 cup of ice, and I was like, I wanted 4 cups of ice, and she's like, I don't have 4 hands. I wasn't even being disrespectful. I was just chilling. Check. I don't have 4 hands. And I was like, I didn't ask you if you have 4 fucking hands. I said I needed 4 cups of ice. And she's like, well, I can't bring it with one. I was like, because I was like, last time you guys only gave me one, because last time they only gave me one, and I ordered 4. And then I had to tell them because they forget sometimes. And when I told her this time so they don't forget, the bitch had to have an attitude. Well, I don't have 4 hands. I'm like, I didn't ask you if you have 4 fucking hands. That's what I told her as. I didn't get disrespectful. That's all I said. And she's like, well, I can't bring it all at once. And I just let it go. And I was like, because I was in a good mood. I wasn't even, and the bitch was having an attitude for some reason. It made me realize once people have a sense of familiarity with you, they feel like they can disrespect you. That's what that taught me, because I went in there the last few days and I got ice, and it was from the same bitch, and she didn't have no problem. But all of a sudden, she just had an attitude for no reason. And I'm like, just because you see me a couple of times, bitch, don't sit there and have an attitude with me. You don't know me like that. That's what I was thinking. But I didn't want to get kicked out of there because you don't want to, if somebody comes at you disrespectful like that, depending on the situation, you don't want to just go all in and cut. Because what I realize is you don't always have to come back very disrespectful, like, fuck you, bitch. And sometimes that actually is worse. Like, people that I've pissed off the most, I come up with a nice, calm demeanor. When you come up with a hype ass demeanor, it only makes sense in certain situations. Like, if I'm dealing with a bunch of hood niggas or some ratchet ass bitches, then I might come a little hype. But if you're dealing with like a professional setting, as a lot of white people, then that's when you come off kind of passive aggressive, and you say sly remarks and you come calmer. That pisses them off even more. Or you just blatantly tell them motherfuckers how it is. Like, you say it in a respectful way. I don't like your attitude, and don't be mad at me. You work here. That's what I say sometimes. Like, you could obviously tell she was miserable. She worked here. So, because anything that happens in my life like that, I always take note of it, and I see the lesson behind it. That's what you guys need to do. Everything. There's nothing happens in life that's just random. So you guys always gotta keep that in mind as well. I leave the chat open if anybody wants to join before I head out. since we an hour in already. But yeah, guys, it's just there's a lot to learn from life. It's always life is a constant learning process. Yeah, yeah, it's a nice ass day today. I don't know why I don't like the summer though. I don't like the summer for some reason. I don't know. My favorite weather is spring and the fall. I hate the summer because the summer just I don't know when it's the summer it's like I get scatterbrained and it's hard for me to really focus and do shit. Like I don't know what it is. I don't like the summer. Like, but it is what it is. Like they say, the heat makes you get angry and more upset. I think there's some truth to that. Every time when it gets hot, I'm always like in a fucking mood where I really don't. I get kind of upset and irritated. Like my favorite weather is probably fall. Because once the fall gets here, it's like I don't know. Just it's a calm demeanor that comes over me when the fall is here. Yeah, but this summer's about to end fast. Like I can feel it. That's why it's very important for you guys to be doing what you're supposed to be doing because time is going by quicker. A lot of like especially as time keeps speeding up even faster and faster, you're gonna see a lot of things start happening. And I honestly feel like as time starts speeding up, you're gonna start seeing a lot of things within the matrix in the system start switching up because everyone used to like that post. I made a post yesterday talking about time speeding up is a form of system collapse. Everyone's focused on the system collapsing, and when is the you don't even have to worry about that. Just at the end of the day, time is something no man can really control. That within itself is collapsing the system. It just doesn't have to collapse it in a way where it's down. It's like everything falls apart. It just people who are like in the system who make money, they're so material, they're not even going to be able to live a fulfilling life. Everybody's so trying to get fulfilled from their desires. And like what Cassandra said, she said something about there's not enough time to do things. Everyone's trying to be fulfilled with their desires. There is enough time. There is enough time to do things. It just the things that you want to do, there's not enough time for. That's really what it is. Like a lot of people want to go out and have fun and chill and relax, and it seems like it's not enough time to do that. But in reality, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, that's all that really matters. We're not. Who said you're supposed to be having fun all the time? Like life isn't really meant for fun, and life is meant for everything. You can say life is meant for fun, but if you say life is meant to have fun, you have to say life is meant to not have fun. Because if life was meant to have fun, then we'll be having fun 24/7. The only thing you can really say is life is meant for it to experience, because that's something you're always doing. You can never not do. You can never not experience, but you can always have fun. You see what I'm saying? You can never not experience, but you can't always have fun. So life isn't about having fun, because otherwise you'll be having fun all the time. Life isn't about. It's not even about being sad, because you're not sad all the time. But don't worry about like not having. You have enough time to do what you got to do. Which is, what do you want to do? Do you want to have fun and chill, relax, or do you want to actually be on your purpose? If you're being on your purpose, there's always enough time for that. There's never not enough time for that. And if you think there isn't, you may be doing something wrong. Like a lot of you guys worried about, I got to open this business, I got to study, I got to read, I got to do this, I got to do that. You may not even need to do that. You got to find out what you need to do. You guys, people watch so much content creators, they watch so much people on the internet, and you listen to all these fucking people, and they're living their life how they're supposed to do it. And you think, oh, I need to open this business, I got to do this. Maybe you do need to open a business, but maybe the way you open it is different from the way they open it. So you don't have to go through it, because it's about working smart, not hard. A lot of like most of you niggas, just got to worry about getting to know who you are. And once you do that, that's going to open up the floodgates to just do anything that you feel like you need to have a lot of time to do. Like you may say, "Oh, I gotta open up this business. I gotta do this. I gotta study. I gotta do this. I want to learn how to do this. I want to travel here. I don't have time to travel this." But if you just focus on doing what you got to do, all those things you feel like you didn't have time for, they're gonna be happening. But all of those things are gonna be secondary. They're just gonna come to you. But the main thing that you're really doing is working on self. That's why you just gotta work on yourself. Do what you gotta do, and everything else will just come. Don't even sweat it, because time is just gonna keep going faster and faster. We're in a time where, because a lot of the reason why time is speeding up is because at this point in time, most people should have been already situated and doing what they were supposed to be doing. Like back in the day when they were telling you to quarantine and stay your ass in a house and relax and get high and play video games, and they gave you an excuse such as fucking stimulus and unemployment. That should have been the time people should have been working on shit. That should have been the time you should have been doing all that. And then fast forward 4 years later, 5 years later, all of that, all of that shit you were doing, you became a master at it. So now, I'm not saying you're going to be relaxing right now because you never really fully relax, but it's going to be a situation where you're not on a time crunch. You're not running around. I got to do this. I got to do that, because you already have shit situated. See, that's where people fucked up. If you're feeling like there's not really much to do, maybe you fucked up. But I don't want to say you fucked up, because sometimes you guys are just not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And once you stop doing that, you have all the time in the world. You just got to have your priorities straight. These are people usually use the excuse you only live once as an excuse to indulge in it. Exactly. That's why anybody who talks about that YOLO shit, they can have every right to believe what they want to believe. But I look at when I see most people, they'll be talking about YOLO. I only live once, and I'm like, dude, you fucking worked at Walmart your whole life. You in your 30s, you didn't accomplish nothing, and you actually are glad that you actually believe in YOLO. Like, if you believe in YOLO and you 30 something, and working at Walmart your whole life, you should be depressed and miserable. This is your only life, and your only life, a third of it you spent working at Walmart, and you don't have any hopes of getting out that shit soon. That's depressing. I don't know how you're happy that you only live once. They're like, oh, YOLO, I'm gonna go party this weekend. Yo, why not YOLO? I'm gonna go fly on a private jet. Or YOLO, I'm gonna go fucking do some shit you actually want to fucking do. I'm not saying like going to like just do something you want to do. Most people just say, "Oh, YOLO, I'm gonna go try this new fucking sandwich at Firehouse Subs," or "Oh, YOLO, I'm gonna go fucking um play this new game," or "I'm gonna go get drunk this weekend," or YOLO. There's only shit that they can do. It's not shit they really want to do. So you're not living no YOLO. You living YOLO on stupid shit that you can do based upon what position you're in. Like people talk about YOLO, but yet your whole life is boring as fuck. Your whole life is bland as fuck. That's not no YOLO, nigga. For real. Just another spell to waste time. That's why I don't like. You notice how nobody even really says that shit no more. That shit used to be hella popular back in like the day, like 2011, 12. Everyone used to say YOLO and shit. But then when you seen all the people that say YOLO, it'll be these niggas who drink on the weekends and they party and they're like YOLO and they'll take a shot. Like the fuck? Like what the fuck does taking a shot have to do with YOLO? Motherfuckers take shots. Back in the day, motherfuckers took shots because they didn't want to live. They were miserable in their life, not because they're trying to have fun. Like the fuck? Why would you say YOLO and take a drink? That's where I fucking see them. We're YOLO and then they'll take a shot or some shit. Or they'll be like, YOLO, I'm gonna go and do just something stupid that you don't even need to say YOLO to do. It's never been YOLO, I'm gonna be the greatest version of myself. It's never been that. It's always YOLO, I'm gonna do some stupid dumbass shit that's pointless. So, like you said, that's an excuse just for people to waste time. Because you'll never see somebody say, YOLO, I'm about to go build a business and be successful. Or I'm going to go become a spiritualist, a master breatharianism, or do something. I don't even like to say anything because all this shit is physical. It's all fucking stupid, nigga. Like, because I don't want you guys thinking like opening a business and all this shit that I'm saying is somehow something to be like excited over or gawk about. Like, fuck all that shit too. I just saying it just so you guys can get what I'm saying. Like, don't think that I give a fuck about this money and this bit. Fuck all. I just say it because so you guys get what I'm saying. Because all that shit ain't shitty anyways. Yeah. Hold on. Somebody send me a message real quick. Yeah. But yeah. But anyways, guys, like I said, I might end this live stream, but yeah, nothing really much for me to say right now. I think I said everything for at least for right now. But like I said, right now you do not want to waste no time at all, and don't overcomplicate life. That's another thing. Don't life is supposed to be very simple. There's a few things that allow you that we all need to be doing, and once we focus on that every day, it may be boring, it may not be fun. That's what's gonna allow you to succeed. Don't think that you gotta do so much shit. Oh, I gotta do this because that's the thing with social media. Social media is really making people think that they need to be there. Like you have all these dumbass motivational speakers, and don't get me wrong, they motivational speakers can help you. Like I wouldn't even say I'm a motivational speaker. I would say I am that, but I give you guys actual knowledge and wisdom. I don't just tell you shit that's just gonna motivate you. Like I give you like a blueprint in a way where you can at least start. Like I talk about fasting, but there is a lot of these motivational people. They don't really tell you shit. Really, they just tell you keep trying, and but then they don't understand. You just can't tell everybody to keep trying because there could be somebody who has autism, who has brain deficiency. They got a lot more shit mentally, spiritually blocking them. Where I'm not saying they have an excuse, but you tell them to keep trying. They need more than that shit. Maybe they need fucking. Well, I don't want to say they need because you can't help anyone really, but motivation don't work for everyone. Because motivation is just shit that people sell this to make money. A lot of these content creators, they just want to make money. Like all these David Goggins and all these people, they talk about, oh, become great. None of these motherfuckers really know shit. None of these motherfuckers, they know shit. Some of these people, they have natal placements in their natal chart. They may have a whole Capricorn in the sixth house stellium. That it's easy for them to stay on track. Some people have in their natal chart were working hard and doing repetitive tasks daily and being disciplined. That's their pleasure and that's their fun. Whereas some people, they may have an opposite where it's hard as fuck. So this is why I say it's not motivation can't just help you. A lot of these people that you see that talk about motivation and self-help people, a lot of these people, they that is their drug. That's their desire. Their desire is to work hard. Their desire, it's like some people's desire to get high. Some people's desire is to work hard always challenge themselves. And that's just how they are spiritually, and their natal chart, and it's easy for them. So when they talk about this shit, it really can't, it doesn't, that shit doesn't work for everyone because they like doing that. So then when they see somebody who's lazy, they'll be like, oh, this person's lazy, but maybe they just got to work a little bit harder, and they got a lot more learning and squares in their chart, which it makes it harder for them to do it. But we all can do it. But it just tells you motivation shit don't help for anyone. And don't look at a person who's talking about motivation like, oh, he went through what you went through all the time. Like sometimes they can, but sometimes these motherfuckers just talking just to make money. A lot of these people are actually weak ass spirits, and you're actually stronger than them. But the more problems and issues that you got, when you overcome them, you have more resistance. You went through more resistance. So when you're building muscle, you're putting your muscle through resistance so it can enlarge and grow more. When you go through more resistance in life to get to where you want to get to, you're gonna come out more polished as a diamond compared to somebody who got to a successful position but they didn't go through that much resistance. Whether that be they just didn't go through what you went through or whatever it is. So you gotta always look at it like that. Because you see so many self-help people, but you don't see that many successful people in life. How is this guru getting 100,000 views per video, but you don't even see the 100,000 people that are successful? And you don't even want to count the people who are successful who don't even need to watch that shit. There's a fucking dog right here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. It's a dog. Damn, I hate fucking StreamYard. How you can't switch it to the other side. I don't know why they do that shit. But yeah, you guys gotta understand, like, yeah, but yeah, I don't want to tell people to stop watching social media because I'm a realist. I know a lot of people aren't gonna do that because what you need, or people tell you to, in order for you to quit something you're addicted to, you have to replace it. So if you watch social media or if you get high all day or you're doing things you're not supposed to be doing, you need to replace it with something. You can't just stop doing it. Otherwise, you're gonna not have nothing to fill that void, and you're gonna go relapse. So when I say stop watching social media, I don't want to say stop watching it. Figure out something in your life you can do where you're doing that. And even when you do watch social media, is at certain times of the day where it's not affecting you or you're watching it very little, but you're focused on something else. So I would change it to don't focus your energy on social media. I'm not saying don't watch it, but don't focus it. Because that's what's going to really program you. And because a lot of this shit is programming the way people think, it's actually worse than the television. This is why people are more dumber, people are more closed off, people are more just very negative because everybody's walking around with a perception of how they think life is. Nobody actually um, looks at reality. Nobody actually lives in reality. Everybody lives in a dream and an illusion. So you guys gotta always remember that, and that's all due to social media. So cut back on that shit if you can. I try not to look at certain shit. Like I got rid of Instagram. Like I'm gonna open another one for this page, but I had an Instagram and I just got rid of it because there was a lot of bullshit on my Instagram, like stupid shit. Every time I go on the search and it'll just show me all these retarded ass pictures, I didn't want to just go and unfollow everything because it would have been too much. I was like, let me just get rid of this fucking shit. Like I'm tired of seeing a bunch of dumbass, stupid shit on my fucking Instagram. Just retarded ass people dancing. Just even when it comes to spiritual shit, like this fake ass spirituality, like just dumbass shit, like everything. Like if I have one app, it's gonna be mainly about just yoga, health. That's mainly it, to be honest. Like spirituality, a few people I fuck with when it comes to spirituality, but even spirituality, that's a program as well. You guys got to be careful about spirituality. That's a very big program. Like, especially the time that we're in right now. If it's in some cases, spirituality is actually doing a lot more harm than it should be doing. I'm not saying spirituality is negative. It's not negative, but the type of, because you guys got to remember, we're on the internet where anybody can just come up on here and start talking about whatever, and then they can claim it's this. Like I can talk, I don't even have to be a boxer, and I can start talking about boxing and giving misinformation. And if a lot of people think I'm entertaining and watch me, and I have 10,000 views, I'm part of the boxing community, even though I've never boxed in my life. Because what makes you part of a community, what makes you somebody, like, remember back in the day, they say, oh, I have a PhD, I have a bachelor's, I got a doctorate. In this time, it's I have 100,000 subscribers. I got a silver plaque. I got a diamond plaque. That's the new. That's the new degree. A plaque. 100,000 subscribers. This is why you see the most dumbest people. That you'll see like a person who's very stupid and even borderline retarded. If he has 100,000 views, you'll see other people within, like, let's just say if I was talking about health, I don't have a doctor's degree, but if I started getting 100,000 views, you'll see other doctors come on my platform and start either respecting me or hating on me, saying I'm misinformation. But it's not that they like the information, because if I was speaking the same information and getting the views like I'm getting now, they're nowhere to be found. It's those views. It's that clout. That's the new social media. So when you as long as somebody's getting views, they can talk about whatever the fuck they want. And if they're talking about a certain industry such as spirituality, bodybuilding, fitness, health, whatever it is, whether they like it or not, they're automatically in that industry. If I start talking about bodybuilding and I'm not a bodybuilder, if I start talking about yoga and fitness and I never did yoga and fitness, if I'm getting 100,000 views talking about it, I'm in that industry. If I start talking about spirituality and I have 10,000 plus views, I'm in that industry. So you're gonna have other people who are in the spiritual industry. This is why you get a lot of haters, because a lot of people are in the industry. They're like, oh, I've been doing this for 17 years. I run this community, and this guy's just been doing it, and he got views. They get upset and they get angry. And sometimes it should rightfully get upset, because some people talk bullshit. But sometimes it's just people who just don't know shit, and then they're working for they're working for the matrix, and they want to try to tear you down. Oh, you don't know about health. You're telling people don't get the shot, and like doctors and shit like that. They'll go on these herbalist channel and try to hate on them and say what they're saying is fake. So sometimes it's good, and sometimes it can be bad. But you got to understand, anybody with views can pretty much be in a position to give information, because views is the only thing that makes you able to be taken serious. I hate that it has to be like this, but this is the thing. This is why you have so many lost people, because you guys are watching people and looking at their views and thinking, well, they must be doing something right. And sometimes they could be doing something right. But even if they're doing something right, it has nothing to do with their views. It has what to do with what they're doing in their personal life. And sometimes they may have views, and that's good. But sometimes these people aren't shit, and they may have charismatic, or they may just be a certain energy. Maybe some of these people pay for views, like they pay for ad revenue. They pay for ad revenue. That's the hold on. Now I'm not gonna do that. The dude I was talking about in the beginning, that's him right there. I don't want to put his shit on the internet and everything. His hand was black and everything, but that's the dude he was walking by right now. The one I was talking in the beginning. But like I was saying, yeah, be careful with social media, man. I even see people, my own family members, they be on social media a lot, and I can see over the years how they change. Like their mind changes. They're just not the same person anymore. They're very toxic. They're very damaged. They come off as very angry and upset. And they used to not be like this. And every time I see them, they're scrolling. They're just sitting there scrolling a bunch of shit on TikTok, Instagram, dumbass shit. To the point, like it's to the point where people aren't like you. You know how you go on social media and shit, and you'll see people leaving emojis, like laughing emojis. 80% of the time, when somebody leaves a laughing emoji, they're not even smiling. But the ironic thing is, the funny thing is anytime somebody's angry, do you ever see somebody leave an angry emoji with the red face? Everybody's always quick to leave a laughing emoji or a smiling emoji when they're not really laughing or happy. But when you're arguing with somebody, if you've seen arguments on the internet, people argue back and forth. Fuck you, you stupid this, and fuck you, you ain't shit. Your mother. People, this is what a troll does. But you never see a person when they're arguing leave an angry emoji. They'll always leave a smiling emoji. Why would you be smiling if you're arguing? It just shows you how people are very fake and how the social media causes mental illness. Nobody wants people to show you that they're angry, but you're obviously angry because based on how you're typing, you're upset. But why is it when you're watching, when somebody, it's the same way when somebody leaves a joke, they'll leave a laughing emoji when they're not even smiling. What the fuck? So this is part of that mental illness. Nobody's real no more. Most of the time people leave a laughing emoji, they're not happy or they're not smiling or laughing. And when people are arguing with you, they're not laughing and smiling, but they leave a emoji. But they don't ever leave the angry emoji because they don't want people to see. Because social media, you're not supposed to let people see the true version of yourself. This is why nobody uses the angry emoji when they're arguing, because they don't want the other person to see that they're angry. But bitch, I already know you're angry because you're the way you're typing and you're coming at me and you're trying to talk all this shit. You're upset about something. So this is why I say like social media causes mental illness. It's fucking crazy. And this shit's getting worse. This shit, ever since like the pandemic. Now, I don't want to say this has anything to do with the pandemic. It has nothing to do with it. But I remember in 2019, when I went out in public, people were more like engaged in shit. I remember there was like just, it was just weird. I seen like there was like things happen. Like I seen people used to hang out with each other, talk and chill and do all these things. I never really fuck with people like that. But I would notice like people around my circle, they'll be like, "Oh, let's go hang out, let's go do this." And nowadays, I don't hear that. Everyone's to themselves now. Everyone's just closed off, and like it's because of this age of Aquarius. Everyone says the age of Aquarius is groups, but they're not. That's the high octave age of Aquarius. The other octave, I don't want to say high or low octave, but one side of Aquarius is Aquarius like to be alone because you got to remember it's the opposite of Leo. Aquarius like to be alone. They only like to communicate and build if it's a purpose, if it's people they can relate to. Nowadays, most people feel like they can't relate to most people because social media has created mental illness where everybody feels like the world needs to be like social media, where it's not. So it even comes down to a lot of you guys like you watch my videos and you go out in public and you may see somebody that doesn't talk like me or maybe talk like somebody that you watch on social media and you're like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot. Which I'm not saying you shouldn't do because don't put yourself around these bots, but that plays a factor in it. Why a lot of people are just so closed off and shit. It's because of this social media and a lot of this shit on it. Everybody, even like you see all these kids in high school, they look miserable and depressed. I remember back in high school, like when it was like when I was in high school, when school was out, everybody used to be joking and laughing and smiling and running around. When I see kids nowadays in high school, they're just fucking like somber as fuck. Like they got bills they gotta worry about, or they gotta wake up in the morning and commute. They just like most of the kids, and I'm like, God damn, like they don't even have like that joy that you even when you were in high school. And I went out with friends. I used to be like, you used to act silly, and I used to be, oh, we're gonna hang out, and it used to be, you see what I'm saying? But high school kids don't even have that. Even when I see little children, like 11, fucking 10, 13, like they're like fucking like little ass adults because they're watching social media and it's programming their brain. So you got even fucking 13-year-olds probably thinking like, I want to be famous on social media, or why can't my dad buy me a fucking gaming setup with a PS5 and this kid bought it, and they judge their life off that stupid shit, which that shit's always been going on. There's always been shit like that. But social media allows you to actually see it. And a lot of people they don't have any inner joy within themselves. They don't know themselves. So they look at this shit like it's something that's it's like, oh, this is gonna my life needs to be like this. And they may not say it consciously, but it's all done subconsciously. So they're just very depressed and miserable throughout their life subconsciously, not knowing where the root cause is. This is why social media addiction is catered to mental illness. Remember that site 4chan? If I think they shut that shit down. 4chan was like a site where all the mentally, physically, sexually abused individuals who were abused as children, they went through traumatic shit. Maybe they experienced a death in their family. Maybe they witnessed it. They went through something traumatic that they didn't decide to heal from. So they had a lot of anger, resentment, specifically white kids. And they'll go on 4chan and create a bunch of trolls and a bunch of hatred and Nazism and all that. Remember they had that? That was the beginning stages of fucking of this whole social media mental illness, was that 4chan shit. I remember because you dare not go on 4chan and let them know you a nigga. They'll flare you the fuck up. Just niggers on it. Because these were very hurt people. Now they got rid of 4chan because it was so toxic, and I guess people got killed them. So it was a lot of shit going on. It was like pedophilia and people. They that shit was like a sewer, a sewer pit for the fucking internet. They cleaned that shit up. They got rid of it, but that shit still exists, but it's on a different level now because all those people that were mentally distraught, that they didn't heal. So fast forward 10 years later, a lot of those people are borderline suicidal, if not killed themselves. It's past a point, like, because now, back then you could have been a troll. Back in 2012, 2011, you could go up on the internet and say you fucking nigger, and people will be like, oh, he said the N-word, fuck you, and people will literally get upset. Nowadays, you really can't be a troll. If you go up on here saying, fuck you, nigger, even white people are going to look at you like, this person's just traumatized. He hasn't healed. He's just projecting. So trolling doesn't really work. It does, but you have to troll differently. You have to either troll differently, or you have to have a lot of, like, content viewers for you to successfully troll. You can't troll back. This is why nobody really trolls like they did on 4chan no more, because a lot of those people who troll, they know they can't really do it. It's not effective. Not only that, a lot of those people, they've refused to heal for so long. They're going through so many tower moments right now, especially with inflation, the low income, on top of all their other mental illnesses that they didn't deal with. So it's like they're going through hell right now. So you guys got to understand, like, we in a whole different time, and that's where this whole trolling shit began, was that whole 4chan. You guys remember how that shit with everybody who was a scumbag of the internet of life went on that website. And right now, all those people, they're still here. They haven't left. They're just more miserable. This is why, remember, I told you at the beginning of my video, anybody that complains about them being miserable or who's projecting, they're really not that miserable. Once a person gets really, really miserable, they're unable to project anymore because their trauma and their problems are so much of a priority, or it's so much in their face that they have to deal with it. And this is where the word humble comes. Like, the traumas have eaten them up so much that they're humble, that they can't really be a troll to that magnitude because it's humbled them. So they're forced to deal with their shit. They're not at a stage of projecting it. Like you'll see somebody bitch about their job. Oh, I hate my job. I hate going to this place. They're not really that traumatized because if they were in Africa and their job was picking up cans and scrap metal just to get $3 a day to buy some rice, they will be like those kids in Africa, just trying to. They want to be out here like talking about it. They'll be out here trying to make a way, and they'll be depressed and traumatized as fuck. If you're traumatized to a certain extent, you're not going to be talking about your problems on YouTube and making TikToks. That shows you that we're not. America hasn't. We're not. It's not that bad yet. It's not that. Once it gets that bad, then you're going to be able to feel a certain energy. So you guys got to always keep that mad. It's not that fucking bad yet. Nilo said, if you find a passion, social media would not be that interesting to waste that much time. It wouldn't be. And the only way you're reason you'll waste time is if you're actually expressing your passion on there. Like, I don't even, to be honest, it's funny because I remember there was a time like back in 2011, because 2012, I overcame a huge depression in 2012. And I remember 2011, I used to hate being on the internet. I used to hate being on the internet. The only time I was on the internet is if I was high. And if I wasn't high, I was out here doing something, trying to get money to get high, or I was always just doing something, kicking it with people. But I remember when 2012 hit, I became depressed. Even when I was high, I would be on the internet watching. That's when I started watching YouTube and being on YouTube. Is when I went through my depression. When I wasn't depressed, I used to look at like, how do people just watch vloggers and shit? I remember I was like, how the fuck do people watch vloggers? And even now, like, I can't just watch people like that. I watch every now and then, and at night, I'll like if I'm just settling down, then I will watch. But during the day, like I don't really watch shit like that. It's not entertaining, and I feel like it's because people are depressed. When you're depressed, you need to your mind needs to be occupied, and it got to a point where I was watching YouTube for so many years that I actually thought it was it's something I like to do. Then just watch vloggers all day. But then when I started fasting, doing my yoga, I noticed I'm like, this shit is fucking boring. I don't like just watching this shit. Like, I can't just watch videos like I used to watch anymore. And it made me realize, like, at least for me, I can't speak for anyone else, that my depression was the reason I was on social media a lot. This is why I talk about mental illnesses correlates to depression. Because when I was addicted to social media so much, I used to be extremely depressed. It's usually you're extremely depressed or you're extremely bored. If you have shit going on, you don't really want to be on social media because you feel like you're wasting time. Because I used to deal with mania. You know, if you guys know what mania is, manic. I used to be very manic, where I used to just have a lot of like bliss and happiness, and I couldn't stay still. And I went through it for like a certain, kind of like a short period of time, and then I think I was too much in the universe. Maybe it was right before I went through my depression. I used to have a lot of mania, where I used to be just in bliss and just be. I couldn't stay still, especially when I smoke weed. I used to not be able to just stay still. I used to be able to walk around and do that. And god damn, dude, that's crazy. Because when I be talking to you guys, I be just flowing. And I didn't even think about this shit until I just started making this video. Because I be flowing, my information be flowing. That's why sometimes I be going all over the place. I just remember I had mania. It was for like a few months. It was a short period of time, and that was right before I had my depression. Because I remember I was there. It was like in 2012, 2013. I remember all of a sudden, like, I just felt hella bliss, and I couldn't stop walking. Like, I had to just keep walking around. I always want to hang out. I'll call people and be like, hey, let's go do this. Let's do this. I used to want to just go walk around and go to the park, and I couldn't stay still. I used to always want to do something. I couldn't even like watch a video or play a video game because I would want to be walking around and doing something. Like, I had to be doing something that wasn't in one spot. And this was right before I had my depression. And when I look back, I feel like the universe sat me down, because when I was doing that, I was wasting a lot of money. I was doing a lot of things. Like I was wasting a lot of time and money, and I wasn't really focused on my purpose. And I feel like that's the reason why my depression came, because my depression came right after I had that mania. Because I was like, why, when something good happens to me mentally or physically, something negative has to happen? Because I never had depression. Then I went through my mania, and it all of a sudden, if you guys don't know what mania is, it's the opposite of depression. So think of your darkest depression. Think of the opposite, the bliss. Like, because when you get into that manic state, it's not. It don't think it's good, because it's still categorized as a mental illness, mania. It's just as bad as depression. You guys may think it's good because, oh, I'm blissed out, but that's not what it is. Because when you're in a manic state, you're not making rational decisions. It causes you to waste a lot of money. I was wasting a lot of money. I was overly generous. I was not able to focus. I couldn't even read a book because I always wanted to go and have an experience. I wanted to go out here and do. I couldn't sit down and focus. And if I was in that mindset long enough, I probably wouldn't be at where I'm at right now, because a lot of things I learned is because I was able to sit down and focus. But and you, like, when you're in that mania state, this is where, like, the breatharian, when I talk about breatharian and the pranic path is a high octave version of mania. It's mania that's controlled, and it's more in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing. The mania that's mental illness is more of a negative circumstance. It's more, so it don't get these two connected. And I feel like when I was manic, the spirit took that shit away from me, because I wasn't focused. I was too in my ego. Because I had that shit happen. I had my mania for about like 6 months to 3 to 6 months before my depression came. Like, the mania came out of nowhere, and then after that, the depression came. And I'm thinking right now, like, that has something to do with, like, that has something to do with me. Like, it was like the mania went with the depression. They're not separate. The reason I had the depression, like, the lesson was for me to go through the mania, then to go through the depression. Not, it wasn't isolated and, oh, something was attacking me and taking away my hat. That's not what it is, because it was both of the same. And it's weird how I just remembered that right fucking now making this video, because when I be saying shit to you guys, it be just flowing, and I just remember that I had that shit, and it made me just come to some realizations right now about my depression and anxiety. And, like, because I ever since that time, I never felt that mania again. I'm not depressed like I was, but I haven't felt it. But when I look at it, when I go on these long fasts, like the longest one I did was 43, I started tapping into that shit. I remember I was tapped into it, but it wasn't the same. If it was a different version of it. And when you're on it, when you're in a state like that, I'm not saying it's like a crackhead. You want to feel good and be blessed. Usually, when you're in a peaceful inner state, it allows you to carry out your mission and purpose, and be more focused and make the right decisions in life. That's why I talk about it. I'm not talking about it like life is about feeling good and just about having fun, and it's like some crackhead shit. You want to be, no, that's not what it's about. Because if you tap in, if you get mania, manic is an actual mental illness disorder. It's in the, well, I don't like to quote doctors and shit, but it's in the DSMV manual, like the mental illness encyclopedia. Like, it's an actual disorder. So is transgenderism. Transgender, that's a mental disorder. They took it out, but it's in the book. It's mental illness. So I feel like it's catered with depression, because just as I was so depressed, and I was also so much in bliss. Like, as happy I was as how depressed I felt. I felt so fucking low. So it's correlated, because people who could feel very, very depressed are usually people who can feel very, very happy. And I feel like it's all connected. It's happiness and depression is connected. Always remember that. Don't think it's separate. It's fucking connected. And this is what I learned, and a lot of it I just realized this right now, because when I was talking to you guys, which is very weird, how I just remember that shit. Because this is why I like to do live streams. I feel like my information, it flows more authentically. when I do like a video, it's like kind of staged and everything. And there's certain things I don't really be remembering, then I have to like make another video for it. So it's like, but like that's just crazy. Because I remember when I was during my manic state, I had my manic episode. I couldn't even watch some, and I'm gonna read the comment. I'm gonna get at you guys' comments. I couldn't even watch a movie. I couldn't sit down because every time I'll sit down and watch a movie, it'll be like, imagine like you're jittery and you just want to move, like you're so excited, like it's like somebody just told you, in about 40 minutes, I'm gonna drop $50 million in your bank account. You're gonna be excited and waiting for 40 minutes, or in 40 minutes you're gonna have invisibility or some shit that you think is gonna make you happy. You're gonna be so excited you're not gonna be able to focus but think about that. That's how it was. So I couldn't watch anything. I couldn't even sit down. And it was when every time I smoked weed, that's when it would happen. It would amplify it more. And the funny thing is, I would use weed to do that. And when I used it too much, that's when the weed made me depressed. So I remember I smoked some weed and I got extremely depressed. Like it was the opposite. And from that point on, that's when I had to cut back on the weed and I stopped smoking. This was around 2012, 2013. And then 2016 is when I started doing my like chiropractic yoga and my breath work and shit. But up until that point, I was just extremely depressed. And it was weird. And then I couldn't even smoke weed. Every time I smoked weed, it would make me depressed and anxiety. But before, when I smoked weed, it made me hella manic. It was never an in between with me for weed. That's why I had to quit smoking. Even when I was smoking last year, and you guys see me smoking, it didn't even make me really feel that good. I was like, I was still depressed. It kind of made me feel more depressed, but I smoked it because it kind of made me feel good. Like it made my body feel good, but it made my mind kind of feel kind of like restricted. Like it's kind of weird. Like physically it felt good. That's why I kept smoking it, but mentally it wasn't there. So I had to just get rid of it because it was actually fucking up my health and my lungs was hurting. And I'm not saying anybody to do what you want to do, but this is what happened to me. So that's why I had to quit smoking. It's never been an equilibrium with weed for me. It either made me extremely hypermanic, where I literally couldn't do nothing, and the spirit took me out of that state because I wasn't able to focus on shit. I couldn't learn because I always wanted to be doing something that wasn't productive. I couldn't sit down and read. I couldn't sit down and listen because I was always like in a hyper state. And I remember I was walking around my house like it's like a crackhead. I was walking around my house just back and forth pacing, just smiling and laughing at everything. And I'll always be joking. Like I used to like my brother's. Well, I don't want to say my brother's name, but I used to call him Fvck or some shit. And I used to be, oh, Fvck, and laughing. And I kept saying a million times. Like, and I wasn't really. It wasn't even the weed. It was because I was so blissed, and I would always be joking and acting silly. So it's like I couldn't even fucking control it. So the spirit took me out of that because I was too in my fucking I was too in my ego. I was not getting I was not able to learn the lessons in that mindset. So it took me down and made me extremely depressed. When I look back, I'm glad I went through that depression because even now I'm able to see, like, if I didn't go through that, I probably would have wasted my time doing a lot of shit. I probably would have wasted a lot of, like, I would not be where I'm at right now. And at the expense of what? Just for me to be feeling good? It wouldn't have been worth it. And I'm realizing, like, I can get to that state without any substance at all with fasting. You see what I'm saying? Like, even like right now, I'm not where I was before, but I'm where I'm like I'm more in a positive mindset than I was before. This is why I'm able to like I like, you guys see the energy I have. I'm able to come and speak how I speak. Is like because I have I'm just that's just who I am naturally. That's my natural state. But I access that state in a negative through substances. I didn't access it naturally, which we all can do it. access it through weed. Because the weed used to not make me feel like that. I used to smoke weed since before. But when 2012 hit, I don't know what it is about that year, but when 2012 hit, when I started smoking weed, that's when it started hitting me. That's when that shit started hitting me. I realized that motherfucking shit. Like, and then that was the same year that weed caused me to be depressed. Like it was an opposite spectrum. Like I went from manic for a few months to depression. So that's why I knew it was part of the lesson. Like it happened right at around the same time. Shout out to Moody Mercury, was good with it. Yup, it was good. He's like, I'm gonna get to all you guys' comments. The mania sound like it could be due to forced happiness from lack of awareness. Exact what? Damn! Shout out to Moody Mercury. Tell me why? Like you just made me realize something else. This nigga is so right about this because there was a time in my life where I will be like for example, you guys know how I'm breatharian and I eat. I don't like to eat, and food is making me depressed. There was a time in my life where I used to eat, and I used to be like, eating makes me feel good, and eating used to make me feel good. But I would have an inner sadness every time I'll like see. I don't. Every time I'll see people eat, I'll have an inner sadness that was so faint. Or every time something good would happen in my life, I would have an inner sadness, and but it wouldn't be a sadness where it makes me depressed. It would be like I'm happy, but it's very faint. But it's so faint to the point where I can't explain it. Because if I talk to you guys about it, you guys would think I'm depressed. I was really happy, but I felt sad, but I felt happy. But the happiness overcame the sadness. It wasn't like it was depression. It was like it was something completely different. It's like I was happy, but I felt guilty and I felt sad for being happy. That's what it is. I was happy, but I felt guilty and sad for being happy. And what he just said makes sense. Lack of awareness of your purpose. Because I was happy because of shit physically, but I wasn't on a purpose. So therefore, subconsciously, I was like feeling unfulfillment. It's crazy. Like it's like you feel happy, but you feel guilty for being happy. Like, and it's like a sadness, like or something like that. Like it was weird, and that's what it was. That's crazy. And then it got to a point like where it was to turn to manic, where I didn't even have any perception of that sadness. Like it over the fake happiness. It overcame all that, and I was just lost in my ego. And that's when the universe sat me the fuck down. Because like I feel like in my life, I have a Lilith in the fifth house, so my expression and my creativity has always been restricted in a certain way. Because I have Lilith in the fifth house, so my creativity and expression has always been restricted, and it's in Aquarius in the fifth house. So when I come to dealing with others and people, and in certain situations in public scenarios, even when it comes to the internet, my shit has been it's not really it's restricted, and that's a battle that I've been trying to get, is that to have my creativity and my expression. Because the reason this is because at my natural state, I feel like, and some of you guys could be going through this too, but for me, I feel like at my natural state, my expression is very overbearing. And because I notice sometimes when I have access to my expression and I'm fully 100% myself, that's when I start a lot of fights. That's when I start a lot of arguments. That's when a lot of people, I attract a lot of attention. Like when I have my other channel, I had like 10,000 views. That's when my expression was very, very free. I attract a lot of attention. I attract a lot of energy and fights. And when I get it, I don't handle it the way the spirit wants me to handle it. So it represses it, because I'll start fights. I'll be extreme. Like, you guys know how I'm outspoken and shit. I'll be extremely outspoken. So it'll put me in situations in my life where I'm not as outspoken, or certain anxieties may come up to keep me from saying certain things due to my nervous system and the knot in my neck. So it restricts me. And sometimes I'll get glimpses of me not being restricted, or I go through a period of my life where it's not restricted. And when it's not restricted, that's when it's like it's a problem. Like, it's crazy. Like, that's when I'll start attracting fights and people, because I speak my mind too much, because I don't have nothing. Because a lot of you guys automatically know how to express yourself within reason. When I anytime like 99% of the time when I express myself within reason, it's because like certain blockages the spirit is putting on me force me to do that. Once it releases those blockages, my mouth is a filter, no filter. And then I start a lot of fights, get a lot of arguments. I'll say some shit that I don't need to be saying. Like, it can get to that. It can get to that point. Like, I'll even say something very disrespectful to somebody and almost get into a fight or some shit. Like, because I'll treat real life like it's the internet, and I'll say some shit, and people get upset, angry, or I get kicked out of a store. Like, because when I was 4 years old, I got kicked out of kindergarten because I cussed out the teacher. I slapped the teacher in her face, and I kicked some kid in the lip. It was a girl in the lip, and she was bleeding a little. And here I was just really bad when I was 4. Like, I was cussing like up a storm, and it's like, how the fuck you know cuss words at 4 years old? Because I see most of my people I used to be friends with, but I started cussing when I was 8 or when I was 7. I was cussing like in the preschool. I remember my dad, he dropped me off at preschool. They were watching a Disney movie on the TV. I remember I turned the TV off. I don't even remember me doing that. Like, I remember because my dad, he dropped me off, and when I went in, I turned the TV off, and then they went and they got my dad from the parking lot, and I go, he turned the TV off, and I was like, oh, why you turn the TV off? I remember that. I was like 4 or 5 years old. He dropped me off to Kids Academy. That was the name of the daycare. It was Kids Academy. I hated that fucking place. I used to cry every time I used to go in that bitch. But the crying was because I didn't want to be there. It wasn't just because I was sad. Cause I expressed it when my parents dropped me off. I would cry. But when I went up in there, I would express anger. So that crying was like I didn't want to fucking be there. It wasn't like, oh, it was sad or whatever. Because I expressed it through anger, and I used to throw chairs, and I remember they had to take I told you guys this before, they had to take a tape recorder. And she had a tape recorder, and she was taping me and taking pictures because I was acting so bad that it wasn't believable. They wanted to show like my parents, okay, look what he's doing. You know how people have a cell phone and they record you on social media, like they when a fight's gotta happen, everybody pulls out their cell phone. I was one of the first motherfuckers to have a motherfucker pull out a camcorder. I seen a fucking teacher. She pulled out a camcorder. It was a picture that you take a picture and it comes out and you gotta and you let it dry. I had motherfuckers pulling out their fucking technology, recording me in daycare at 4. She had a recorder. They had to record me because I was acting so bad. And then the reason I left that school is because there was another girl that her name was Marissa, and we were friends. I remember I even went to the girls' bathroom with her, but it was nothing sexual. We were just hanging out, and then they said, "Oh, your son went to the girls' bathroom. He wasn't supposed to be in there, but it wasn't nothing sexual. I just went in there because we were friends." But me and her used to act like a badass, and I remember she did something bad, and then they grabbed her by the collar, and she had a mark because we were causing hell. They got mad. They grabbed her, and she left the mark, and then the mom brought her out, and then they brought me out, and they put us both in a different daycare. And then we acted a little right at that one. We were still. That's the one I slapped the teacher. She was a white teacher, and I slapped her, and her face turned red. And that's where I was like, when you slap white people, I used to like when you slap white people, their face get red. I used to say that shit because I was, and then like when I look back, I understand why I was doing that because a lot of anger I had back then is now, but I express it differently. Which that doesn't sound like I express it a lot differently. That's probably the reason why like I shoplift and I steal a lot, because it's not because I don't, because when I steal, it's not because I need it and I'm broke. I'll steal just because like it helps me with therapy. Like I'll steal like a whole, but like I remember I was angry, I got in a fight. I remember I stole like a whole bunch of bottles of alcohol, and I didn't even drink it. I just was still, because I feel like I would steal shit and hoard it, and I'm thinking like that's something I do because it's like an anger thing that I need to heal. Like, see, I'm straight up raw. I don't care. Like, I'll straight up be raw, because most motherfucking people, like, they're not. Most people have issues too, but they don't want to say anything because they want to act like they're perfect. Ain't nobody perfect in us, so we all going through our own shit. So it's like, but like I've cut back though on a lot of shit. Like I'm done with the still, because I've been having a lot of dreams lately telling me that I need to stop certain shit. So I'm done with a lot of things. I don't move like I do before. Like I was moving crazy years ago. I don't move like I move anymore. Like I'm actually, because ever since I started fasting and doing my yoga, I literally don't even move like I do before, because I'm so excited for trying to be. I'm so excited to be a breatharian, and I've tapped into fasting for 20, 30, 40 days. I've tapped in, and I know what life can be if I maintain that state. So that's why I have a lot of optimism, because I know no matter how shitty this world gets, if you fix your inner world, you could be living in heaven. You could have a lot of people say, "Oh, it's in," like you'll see a lot of spirituals say, "New level, new devil," or "Life is never going to be good. You're always going to have your ups and downs." I don't believe that. I believe you can get into a state of being. I've been into a state of being where somebody could have stole my fucking wallet with money in it. I still be happy and chilling, because I'm looking at life through an experience. I'm not looking at life like it's happening to me. It's just an experience. So once I tapped into certain mentalities and frequencies through the fasting, yoga, qigong, I know what life can be, and I'm even in those frequencies, and I've engraved in them to a certain extent. This is where I'm able to have a strong mind compared to I did just 2-3 years ago. So this is why I tell you guys, don't worry the fuck the external world. It doesn't matter how the external world is. If you're able to develop that inner world, that's the best thing you can have. I would rather have a peaceful internal world than all the money in the world. Because you have all the money in the world, that money can get taken from you. You can lose that money. You can get tired of spending that money. And then you're gonna have to find something else to replace that happiness. But when you have that true happiness within you, you don't have to have all the money in the world. You don't have to have no money. You can still be straight. And even by you just having that internal peace, everything will formulate in the reality to work out for you regardless. So you'll never be that down bad in a situation. And if you even if you are, it's part of the lesson, it's part of the plan. And you already know that, so you can accept that. You're not worried about, oh, is it just something happens? Because when the reason why most people get depressed and angry when they're in a down state is because they fucked up. If you're doing the right thing and you're in a depressing down state, you know it's part of the path. But when you fucked up due to you not taking opportunities and you didn't listen and you in a fucked up state, then that's good. That's why you're depressed, because you know that you shouldn't be in that situation. It's not part of your path. You could have had a better path. I'm gonna read some of these questions. He's like, Chauncey, great video, bro. You funny as fuck. I'm watching the beginning of the vid right now. For sure. Yeah, and if you guys can't, subscribe, share, and comment. I don't say that because I always forget to say it, but like the video right now if you haven't liked the video. I'm going to start saying it because it puts it in the algorithm. I always forget to say it, but I'm going to start saying that now. Like the algorithm. Like the video so it can be in the algorithm. Said, when you compare how a rat or a roach body can't comprehend a human mind. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you guys seen the beginning of the video when I made that comparison, check it out. What's in the beginning? You guys can watch it on a replay. Yeah, because you got to remember, we just a spirit. We're none of this shit. This human body, everything is eventually gonna, like, even a human body. Like, at once you may have looked at it like it was a good thing, but eventually it turned to hell. Everything, even no matter what, anything that the spirit creates is always gonna turn to hell. Is always gonna be a hellistic version. There's nothing we can create as spirits that's eternal bliss for it's always gonna turn into hell. Like, because what is hell if you look at it? A lot of you guys may say hell is fire burning and all that, which it is. There are things that are uncomfortable, but I look at hell as discomfort. And what's really discomfort that we all can agree on is doing the same thing over and over. Like, if you listen to a song a million times, if you keep eating the same food every single day, that's hell. If you look at it, when you're living in bliss and happiness and so long, that turns into pain. When somebody tickles you, it tickles. But when you can keep tickling you, remember the guy, there was a video, they were tickling him and he's like, stop, stop. He was laughing. And then he passed out. Too much pleasure is pain. If you really think about it, why do you think they have a painful laughter? Like when somebody cracks somebody's back, like it's like, ow, but then it felt good. Because pain and pleasure is the same thing. So hell is pain. Pleasure is pain. And heaven is hell. If you really think about it. Because no matter what you think that heaven is to you, eventually you're gonna look at that as hell and you're gonna want to escape. Remember in the Matrix? I hate that fucking movie, but the Matrix. I like to quote it because everyone watched it and we all can relate to it. Cause, not relate, but we all watched it. The first Matrix, or I think it was the second Matrix. The agent, he controlled the Matrix, and I think it was the first one. He controlled the Matrix. Remember, he had Morpheus in the room when he kidnapped Morpheus, and he had himself connected to that. Like he was beating Morpheus to have him tell him the code or the secret, and like he was trying to like beat him up and torture him. He was like, the agent told Morpheus like, I fucking hate this place. I despise it. He's like, I don't even want to be here. He hated the Matrix, but at the same time, you had what's that bald headed nigga, the one who sold Morpheus out. He was begging the agent, make me a celebrity, make me somebody who's rich. He wanted to be in the Matrix, whereas the agent he was making the deal with was like, he was talking to Morpheus like, I hate this fucking place. Get me out of here. But why was the bald headed nigga trying to cipher? Why was he trying to sell Morpheus out just to have a blissful life? So what was that about? That's because the agent, he's been in that shit so long, he wanted to get the fuck out. Cypher was eventually going to have that awakening and come to the realization that it wasn't worth selling Morpheus out. But he was on that earlier stage where it's like, I wanted to just have fun. And you see what I'm saying? Because at one point, the agent probably liked being there, but it was hell to that nigga. So that's what I recognized that shit. I was like, that's some deep shit. That's kind of weird. How he was making a deal to fucking the agent, how he wants to live in the Matrix his whole life, or he wants to be famous and be a celebrity and have a good life in the Matrix, whereas the agent was trying to get the fuck out of the Matrix, and then he hated being here. But yet the Matrix had access to do anything in the Matrix because he was an agent. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. The true heaven, I feel, I'll probably say is the spirit is experiencing, having an experience. You can say nothingness, but if that was the case, then I would say nothing is, but we always go down to experience. As spirits, we always experience. If you think about it, the spirit always experiences. We go into nothingness, but pretty soon you want to do something. So I'll say experience is the true heaven. Because you really can't even say that nothingness is heaven or hell. It's just what it is, nothingness. If you really think about it, you can't even really call it nothingness. We just call it that because that's what we can. Because the spirit actually has to fucking like create some type of form or something. Even if you're just in like in a blank dark space and nothing's there. That's why you guys got to be careful when you die, nothing happens because you're gonna create a body where you're in a space where you don't have a body and you just see black. That's an actual body. It's just your body is invisible and it's black or it's non-existent in this, and that's a you don't want to be there because the spirit always has to create some type of some body or some type of mind or something to be in. It can't just be non-existent, even if that means you being in a dark room and you don't have no body and you just seeing black. That's scary as fuck. You don't want to be there, so be careful what you believe in. And these people have you talking about, oh, when you die, nothing, you go into nothing, and you okay, you're gonna die and go into that nothing, and just that's gonna be horrible because that is a certain mind and body. Because a mind and body doesn't just mean the mind and human body like we have. Like it could be well beyond what you guys can imagine. Because like I said, I'm talking to you guys and I'm thinking with this human brain. So when I talk about mind and body, the first thing that comes in your brain is an organ that looks like this or looks like an animal and a body that looks like something you've seen. It doesn't go beyond that. It's like you guys can't comprehend it because we can only comprehend so much because we have a brain and an organ. We only have a brain, a human brain. Yo, Chauncey one, how can there's are less females who know about spirituality compared to guys, or am I tripping? There are women who know about spirituality, but there are less women because one thing you gotta understand is women are more in a support. Women are like supporters more so innovators and um, creators, and they don't set the trend. They usually follow the trend. They're supporting for the most part. For not saying all females. Females are usually the supporters, the followers, or they support what the man has built. You got to understand the man that most women look at is the government. The government is the man, and the so-called man with the most. So right now, the most influential power. Like if they make a law that we can't drive in this parking lot, we have to follow that law. So what the government does has the most influence at first glance when we're looking at the physical. So most women, they look at that as their man, whether they like, even if they say they hate the government and these black bitches, oh, fuck this cop, fuck these police, and it. But if a man came and became too buck with them, they'll call the police. If something happened, they'll quote the government, or if they get sick, they'll go to the hospital. So that's their number one man is the government, whether they hate the government or not. Has nothing to do with what you like in the government. It's what their actions and what they have. So most women, knowing that women are supporters of the masculine energy, they're gonna obviously subconsciously support the government because that's a masculine energy. So anything the government says, the average woman, more, I'm not saying all women, because you got some women in the comments, you see some women on spiritual channels, they're against that shit. But I'm speaking for most women. Most women, they will cater towards the masculine government energy more so than anybody else. Even if they have a husband, they'll tell the husband, like, if the husband is trying to create his own business, making money, they'll say, oh, you need to go work a regular job and you need to put that shit down, and that's not bringing money in, even though the man may be trying to bring money. So they out of that's them catering to the masculine energy, the masculine figure. So that's what these women That's why a lot of women aren't into spirituality, because spirituality isn't is not masculine. It's I don't want to say it's not it's not what the government wants you to focus on. It hates it hates spirituality. Spirituality can bring people back to their serenity. It can bring people back to their peace, their happiness, their knowledge of self. And when you do that, then a lot of these corporations, they lose money. Nobody wants to spend money on Nikes. They don't get lost in their desires. So Marlboro cigarettes and all these other corporations that depend on people being lost in desires, they're not going to make money. Less tax revenue. Um, the whole 9 yards, a whole bunch of shit is going to happen. So this is why they don't promote spirituality. Spirituality promotes you to learn about self. And if they do promote spirituality, because we're at a time right now, so many people are waking up to spirituality, they have to put something about spirituality. Otherwise, it's going to do them more harm than good. So if they didn't have spirituality, it'll do them more harm. So you may have certain people about spirituality and talk about spirituality, but it's watered down, fake ass spirituality that is not actually helping people. Like they have it in a way where, oh, the government's gonna the government's gonna come falling, crumbling down, and it's because of karma, and you don't have to. We don't have to fight. We don't have to do anything, but just chill and relax. And the government's gonna get their karma, and it's about being happy in the moment. And don't watch the news and worry about, which is some balance to that, but not to the point where you're not supposed to just do nothing. So this is why you have people like Sadhguru, and most of his audience is females or a bunch of bitchmen, because those are people that's like the spirituality that's promoted by the government. And if you know, the spirituality that's promoted by the government is mainly catered to women. We see all the government psyop spirituality, mainly women are into it, because that's the government. That's still the government. Like I said, the women, they go after what the government is for the most part. If you don't follow, this is where even the red pill get their arguments. Oh, women don't like a man that's not like this or not like this. But all the things that red pills say that a man is supposed to be to get women, the government created that blueprint for them to say, you need to be like this. So even down to getting women, you gotta act like the government wants you to act to get women. And right now, since they want to kind of create depopulation, and they don't want a lot of people producing kids because they don't want to feed people, and they want to kill off the human race and shit. They want to divide men and women, so women aren't fucking and shit. And they create STDs and all this fucking AIDS and herpes and shit to make you not want to just have sex recklessly and all that shit. That's what they have to create. That's why, like, even with the homosexual community, they have, it's an AIDS epidemic. Like, if you, the mostly gay people get AIDS because men have, they don't want people fucking too much. Like, men have high sex drives compared to women. So when it comes to homosexuality, they have to put something like AIDS to that magnitude, because men would just be fucking left and right, because men have high sex drive than women. So for a gay man, it's easier to get another man than it is for a woman to get a man to get another woman. So they have to infiltrate the homosexuals with AIDS. They do it with the women too as well, but they do it really with the, like, if you're a man and you gay and you having sex, your odds of getting AIDS is much higher than if you're a man and you get herpes or chlamydia. Because they don't want people just fucking recklessly and all that shit. So that's why women, the more they don't know about spirituality. Most people will look, if you talk about spirituality, most people will look at you like you fucking, like, oh, they'll categorize you, or you're one of those people, you're one of those manifestors, or they'll try to categorize you like you somebody on their level. Like, bitch, you don't categorize me. I categorize you. You're a bot. You're one of those dumbass, retarded ass sheep that don't know shit. Don't try to categorize spirituality like we're one to know. We're one of the fucking what you're supposed to do. That's what we're one of. We're one of the what the fuck you're supposed to do. That's what we're one of. We're not one of your stupid ass, a bot, a sheep, an agent, a useless fuck. That's what you are. That's what your category is. A spiritual person who's into spirituality, don't categorize us like, oh, we're a manifestor. No, that doesn't make sense. People are fucking dumb. That's the shit that gets me mad when they try to categorize you and shit. I remember I heard this one bitch say, if he talks about astrology or spirituality, then get away from him or some shit like that. And I'm like, bitch, if you have a problem with spirituality or astrology, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Like, I'm at that point. To be honest, any female coming on the internet and voicing their opinion, I don't even want to have anything to do with you unless you're voicing an opinion on something that can help people uplift themselves or better themselves. If you're just talking about your opinion of the world and you a female, first of all, that's not even what a female should be doing. Like a female, I'm not saying female can't talk and speak. They can have everyone talk and speak, but teach something that's gonna help uplift people or something that somebody can use. But it seems like every bitch I see, most bitches I see on the internet, is always with their opinion about something. Like if I want a man has to do this or that, or why are men doing this? Why is this like shut the fuck up? Like the fact that you even say that just shows that you're going through some type of daddy issues. You got some type of femininity issues. You got some type of masculine. You got some issues with being a real bitch. Because you thinking too damn much. Like for you to even be in a mindset where you have to complain about a man doing this and that shows you that you can't get a good man. Because I'm looking at it from the root cause. The moment of any female is on TikTok complaining about a man or what a man needs to do, that tells me that you can't even get a good man. Because instead of complaining about what men need to be doing, go get the man that does it. Because everyone like to say, oh, women have options. Bitch, if you have options, like they want to portray and act, don't complain. Like, why would I complain that this restaurant has horrible food if I have all the money to go to a restaurant I do like? I just won't go there. Bitch, why are you complaining about a nigga that not doing this and that for you? Just go get the nigga that could do something for you because you can't get it. That's the reason. That's where it ends. So you bitter and you upset. Now you want to put your opinion on the internet to make other men feel bad because you want to insult them because they insulted you because they didn't give you what you think you desire, what you think you deserve. Bitch, fuck you and what you want. Like these bitches are stupid out here. Most of them are just dumb. And they, like the ones that are like when I see a woman not even into spirituality, I'm not saying they have to be heavily into it, but when it's to a point where they look at it like it's crazy and it's dumb, that right there is a red flag to me. Like females are feminine, they're more intuitive. So if you're not even low key tapped into it and you're not even understanding to that point, that means your femininity is very gone. If you're looking at like, oh, it's wrong, and that means you're into that science and analytical, that means you hyper masculine. That bitch is probably in the military or some shit. Probably wants to be a police, join the fucking force or some shit. Like it's crazy. Because one thing about these women who want to act masculine is like no woman is truly masculine. Because at the end of the day, if a man got loud and in your face, they will cower like a scared dog. You always got to keep that in mind. Women, the reason women get in men's faces and they hit men is not because they think they're a man, because they know they're a woman. Because let me tell you why I know they know they're a woman. The reason I know they know they're a woman because the moment you hit them, then they go in the victim state. They want to call the police. They want to go and get somebody. But if another man hit me, I'm gonna be looked at as somebody I should go fight back. But when you hit a woman, she doesn't do anything. She just cowers away. Oh, I'm gonna go call the police. Or you hit me, and I see videos. The bitch go in the man's face, and then he'll hit her. And oh, you hit me, and then she'll act like a victim. But if a man hits another man, I'll be looked at as a bitch if I say you hit me. I'm gonna go. You see what I'm saying? But why when a female, so this is why these females, they know they're not masculine. It just, when they hit a man or they get loud, they're hoping and they're banking. And 99% of the time they're right. That the man won't hit them back and the man's going to let it go. But when the man hits them back, it comes to them as a shot. And at that moment, they feel like a female. And that's what upsets them, because you made them feel like a female when they were trying to act masculine. That's why a lot of these women walk around with like an attitude. And like I seen these bitches walking like, it's because they feel like they need to be like that. A true man doesn't feel like they need to walk around unless you like in prison. If you out in the street around at the fucking supermarket or at the mall, who the fuck you need to act like head honcho for? You don't need to act like fucking head honcho. You gotta handle your business. But it's only a female who will be walking in a public setting with kids and family who feel like they gotta act like that. A man won't act like that unless they're in a mall, or unless they got funk. You in a gang territory, or you're around. It's some shit that warrants it. So this is how you can tell the females that are damaged, because they'll be in a normal setting and then they'll be acting all masculine because they think that's what a man acts. But any real nigga knows in a normal setting, men are very just calm, relaxed, and you only bring that side out if necessary. But since a female can't understand that because they're not a man, they feel like they're supposed to be like that every time, and that's somehow supposed to get them as respect. Whereas when I see them like that, I see a very damaged bitch that has trauma, probably daddy issues. Because even when I look at my own family member, like I have people in my family, like the females in my family, they got, like my sister, she has issues. She's very depressed, has fucking problems, issues, tries to turn people against me. I don't like going into shit like that because I keep family out of it, because I don't look at family like you guys look at family. Like, so it's not like I don't look at them like, oh, they did something to me. I look at it like it's a lesson, and they ain't shit really. This is a lesson that they're there for. There's not really nothing as that important. But I can see, like, for example, she don't like talking to my dad for certain reasons, whatever the reason is. Like him and my brother, they'll be against my dad, and I'll be seeing like how they're against him, and they'll be like, oh, because he be doing this and that. But in reality, when I see how they act, I can see why he does that, because you motherfuckers need that hard. And I'm not saying my dad is perfect, but because I can say I had issues too, and we argued and fight. But the thing is, like, I'm more spiritual, so I'm able to see. So I'm looking at it. Before I used to kind of be like, okay, I understood them. But as I'm waking up, I'm like, okay, no, they have their own problems. Because even when I see my sister, she has issues, she has problems, so I'm able to know certain things. I see how she acts, and she just has issues for no reason, and just has attitude. And I'm seeing how, like, she has problems with her own dad, and that's a big thing that stems from it. It's situations like that, and like they'll shit, people not wanting to heal, not wanting to take responsibility. That's why I was like, I'll be damned if I bring kids into this world, because I'm not bringing kids in this world for them to be like I see how my dad is, and I'm not saying he's perfect, but no one's perfect. But how his kids treat him, they don't want to talk to him over just some dumb shit, and all the shit he's done and for them and stuff. And nobody's perfect, but I'm not gonna have kids just for them to not want to fuck with me. Like, fuck that shit. I'm not having no damn kids. And then not only that, you got to make sure the bitch you're having kids with isn't gonna take the kids away from you and keep you from seeing them. Like my uncle can't even see his fucking one of his kids because the bitch kept him away from him. So it's like, I'm not having kids with no fee. That's something I'm not taking that risk. I'm not taking that risk unless they change the court laws where that shit is just changed, where it's not foolishness like it is now. I'm not having no fucking kids. They have to change the court laws for me to have kids. I'm not. There's so many barriers, and then not only that, there's so many men that are forced to deal with females that they don't want to deal with. They're not spiritual. Imagine how many men are out here that they have kids with a female, and the only reason they're still having to put up with her bullshit is because they have a kid by her. if he didn't have a kid by her, he wouldn't. He could just be like, "Adios, I'm done with you, you stupid, ugly ass, fat, stinking bitch. I'm done with your ugly ass, your fat, stinking retard." He can just say that. He can't say that because he has a kid with the female, and now he has to put up with it. So it leaves him to a point where he's hoping he can try to change the female, which at that point, like me, I would never try to change no one. But if you have a kid with somebody and you really want to make it work because you have the kid, you're gonna want to at least try to change them. But you can't change no one. I don't want to ever be put in a situation where I'm like trying to force and begging somebody to change so my life can be easier. I don't want to ever be in that situation. So I'm not gonna be in that situation ever in my fucking life. And to be honest, I'll never be in that situation. If it comes down to me, I'll be like, bitch, fuck you and fuck those kids. And try getting child support, nigga, because you ain't getting it from me. I won't work, bitch. On paper, my government name is gonna show up as $0.00 earned annually. I'll still be living good. And if you want products if you want supplies and food for the kids, I will pay for that, but you're not getting it through the government. And you will be seeing me living good, and it will work. And I don't want to be in that situation. And if it gets to a point where that won't work, then I'll be like, bitch, fuck you and fuck that kid. I came in the stone, I died alone. My spirit doesn't come in twos. My spirit's is singular. It came in one. So I'm only gonna fuck with people who are on my frequency, who are gonna uplift me and help me on my spiritual path. If that's people that ain't in my family, they're more of a family than a motherfucker who's so-called blood that ain't helping me but holding me back, putting me through depression. That's how I look at it. For real, it just is ridiculous. And it's not like I hate I hate family, and I don't have. If something can happen where it can work and we can build, and that's more. That's all the better. But I'm not gonna be put in a situation where I'm like, you're gonna make me feel drained energetically, because I don't play that. I don't play that shit. Like, that's one thing about me. I don't play. Like, I'm very like I'll get very disrespectful, and I'll take it to 100 if need be. I don't want to do that. I don't like to do that. But you guys gotta understand what the fuck is going on. Like, ain't nobody fucking with you in this life but yourself. That's the only people I realize. And it's funny because Saturn, I have Pisces Sun in the seventh house. Saturn is in Pisces right now, so it's conjuncting my seventh house in Pisces. So it's weird how ever since Saturn went into Pisces, people in my life have been acting extremely funny and sure. I don't want to get too deep into it. I don't like to put everything out here, but everybody's been acting really funny. And me knowing astrology, I already know why it is. So I was actually, I want to say I was prepared for it, but I didn't think it was gonna play. I knew something was gonna happen with my seventh house, but I didn't know it was gonna happen like this. But it's just it made me realize, which in a way I look at it as good because it's allowing me to detach. So now, like, let's just say like a lot of people, they say, oh, my kid got killed, and now they're grieving their dead child. But me, I don't have children. If I had children and they didn't fuck with me, I don't fuck with them. So if something were to happen, I won't have to grieve. Maybe not say I will not grieve or feel sad, but I won't be as attached, so I won't be as depressed. Like, I don't. The good thing about not having that many people you fuck with is you don't have to go to that many funerals. You don't got to worry about protecting that many people. Oh, this person, they got in an accident, they got killed, they got jumped. I don't got no niggas who are in the hood, so I don't have to worry about no niggas getting shot. Any niggas I heard that got shot in the hood, I didn't give a fuck about because I wasn't cool with you. You never slept on my couch. You were never there. I've never been cool with anyone. So that's less people that I have to grieve over or feel a certain way if something were to happen, or I got to go and protect them and fight for them. I remember in high school, motherfuckers would be like, oh, they'll clown on me, and they're like, oh, if somebody came and started fighting me, I bet you wouldn't do nothing. And back then in high school, I would be like, yeah, I would do something, and I would try to like prove. Like I remember this one dude was about to fight. I wasn't about to fight. I didn't fuck with these motherfuckers, but I was going up like I was pretending to fight the motherfucker. And my mom like, this ain't my fight. I don't give a fuck. But I wasn't gonna do shit. But I was pretending like I was gonna fight the motherfucker. And when I look back then, I'm so glad I never risked my life and I never fought nobody, because all those people ended up not being shit. I'm not saying I would never fight and defend somebody, but it'd be somebody I fuck with on a real level and they showed evidence to prove. None of these niggas showed evidence to prove. They were just motherfuckers I met at school, and they somehow felt I owed them to protect them if something went down. But they weren't shit. And I'm so glad nothing happened to the point where I had to do like imagine if me risking my life fighting somebody, almost getting hurt, almost getting in trouble, whatever it is, over some motherfucker that I don't fuck with. Like a lot of you guys say, oh, I'm down to fight this nigga, I'm down to kill this nigga, and you in the gang with this dude. But at the end of it, if you went to jail, the dude wouldn't even fucking put money on your books. Maybe they'll put money for like a year or so, but after a few years, they're gonna end up evolving and growing through situations. They won't put money in your books your whole stay. But yet you killed somebody for this gang, or you did that's like all that gang shit is like I understand why somebody could be in a gang. I would never be in one, but I could see based on certain people's natal chart, they didn't grow up and had no family, and maybe they really wanted. I'm not. I would never join a gang. I can't imagine, but I like to put myself in people's shoes. When people join that type of shit, it's some type of they join it like a family. It's not like there's a lot of you guys say, why do big people join gangs? That's stupid. But you gotta look at it you gotta put yourself in people's perspective. Always remember your perspective isn't the only perspective. If somebody's willing to get their ass beat and go to jail for life over a gang, don't think that they're being forced into that gang. There must be something within their spirit and soul that wants to be in that gang. So you can't forget that. If somebody's in a gang, it's because they want to be in that shit. And nobody can tell them not to be in it. That's why they're willing to die for the gang, go to jail, and get beaten up to get jumped in it. So anybody in a gang is because they want to, not because they were fooled or they were forced. And you need to question, why would somebody want to be like that? And that goes down to human psychology and why human beings do what they do. And you can't understand why human beings do what they do, but you can't just sit there and say that person's dumb. That you gotta come to understanding that was their choice. Maybe it was part of their spiritual lesson that's gonna help them grow. Because when anybody's down to do something very crazy and sacrifice their life for something crazy, always remember that's something that they must have wanted to do. That wasn't something that they were forced to do. Just like you wanna join the military, you wanna join this club or this whatever. Like it's like they want to join that thing. So you didn't want to join it because that wasn't meant for you. So that's why you didn't join it. This is one question I think I seen. I missed a question. Yeah, but you guys gotta understand, man. Like shit's real out here. Shit, the gang stuff is a programming. Yeah, it's a program. They got tricked into that programming. We all got tricked into some type of programming. That's why we gotta disconnect ourselves from the programming. You gotta disconnect because a lot of people are gonna just stay programmed for life. If you ask me, because the time we're in right now is getting harder and harder to detach from programming. It's getting a lot harder because everybody's bombarded with so much content from social media, and nobody's actively doing anything to better their lives to disconnect, because nobody feels like they should be doing anything. Everyone that feels like they should be doing something is usually the wrong thing, because everybody's watching social media. So they'll go on social media, oh, I need to do this. But is that what you really need to do, or just somebody told you? Then they waste 2 years of their life not getting the results they want to get. and then it leads to them being in a program. Even money, how you earn money, that's a program. You got to understand, money is a like the money program. That's a program people are lost. That's one of the biggest program people are lost in. In order to make money, because money was built off a vampiric system. Anytime you're making money, a lot of money, you're a vampire in some way, shape, or form. To make money, you have to provide a service that everybody else can do themselves, but somehow you have access to it. Like, let's just say you're selling stolen goods. Everyone can go and steal goods, but nobody wants to do it. So you be the one to sell it. You have a course. Everybody could do research and learn the course, but you did the time and went through the effort to learn it to sell to somebody else. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because certain things people don't need to waste their time, and it makes sense. This is why you go and hire a plumber to pay to do plumbing, and you don't go on YouTube and look up how to be a plumber. That's gonna waste your time. So money is good to have people do things you don't want to waste your time and do. But in all totality, money is a vampiric system, because you're paying for shit you really don't need somebody to do all the time, if not 99% of the fucking time. So when people try to learn how do I make money, they think that money is supposed to come easy, or it's supposed to come in a certain way, but they're not actually getting to the root cause of how money comes, which is currency flow and being in a certain frequency. Like, in order to be a millionaire, you have to go through a process. You have to go through it's a procedure and process, and everybody's procedure is different. Every millionaire that you see, even down to a criminal, they have a story, they have a situation they went through, and they built themselves up. If you see somebody with $50 million, they didn't just get $50 million. They started from scratch. They had a business. They put in the hours, the work. Over time, they got known. Like, even when you go look at content creators, like people like me, for example, I'm not really big, but at the same time, if I would have just started my channel right now, speaking like I am, I'll have people watching me, but some of you guys been watching me since 2018, 2019. So there's a certain rapport that nobody can take away that we have, because you watched me since 2019. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing that some random guy can do in a day that can build up the same rapport I have with you guys who've been watching me for 10 years, 5 years. Same with the money. There's nothing that somebody could do to make $5-10 million that it took somebody 10 years of their life to get in that situation. Just like the bitch who's on OnlyFans, the bitch who says who was on Dr. Phil. I seen a story. They said that this bitch making like tens of millions of dollars a month or a year off OnlyFans. The average basic bitch who works at the Home Depot department will say, "How does she make that money on OnlyFans? And I look better than her." But you're not looking at the procedure. Like, this bitch was on Dr. Phil. She was known for a certain thing. She dated probably plenty of rappers. She was in the media. She went through times people were making fun of her and all that, and she built her image over years. And then she capitalized that shit. Now everyone wants to see her make money. But if you just come into the limelight and you don't have no procedure you went through, oh, I want to get on OnlyFans and make millions of dollars because I went on social media and I see somebody do it, so we're in a new Aquarius time. You didn't go through the procedure. You have to go through the hours of work, the procedure. And I'm not saying you have to do OnlyFans. Do what you've been doing. If you're somebody whatever you've been doing the most, stick to that and build your hours off that. If you already have 100 hours doing Taekwondo, build that up. There's no reason you need to go into building, learning how to build houses and open up a homestead and grow fruit. There's no point of building into that energy when you already have 100 energies of Taekwondo and you like Taekwondo and that's your whole thing. Do Taekwondo. and build that. So whatever you're doing and you have a lot of energy in, build off that. And everybody has something you already been doing. You already have hours in. Put into that. And that's going to be how you make your money. Have whatever you're passionate about. Because whatever you're passionate about, I don't know why it just gave me an update. Whatever you're passionate about, that's what you're going to have the most hours in. And that's what's going to make you build the most money. But a lot of people, they get into the money think, oh, I'm going to just go on the internet and I'm going to just go and somehow do something and somebody's going to pay me money. But every time you make money, that money's coming out of somebody's pocket. If you want to make $10,000 a month, that means there has to be $10,000 coming out of somebody's pocket. What are you doing that makes somebody want to give you $10,000? Unless you're doing a criminal activity, which you're just siphoning, and even then that takes work because they have a lot of ways to circumvent fraud and scamming and certain security measures. So even that takes type of skill. You want to do credit card skimming. You got to have technological skill, how to learn how to build a skimmer. You got to know somebody who knows how to do it and what's the best way. How do I network with somebody who works at one of these casual fast dining restaurants? Talk them into scanning the card, double swiping the card while the person who gave me the card, they're not looking. You got to have everything set up. I've talked to people who do that type of shit. It's not easy. And then they have to have somebody go. They have to go hire a fucking crackhead from the street to go into the Best Buy and purchase the goods, cut him off some of the money. It's a process. Everything is really nothing. Even if you go and rob somebody with a gun, you're still risking your life because the cops can catch you, and it's over for you. Now you're serving like 5 teams. So everything takes some type of risk, whether it be criminal activity or because if that wasn't the case, then everybody would be rich. Nobody would be working these stupid weak ass jobs. Even working at these dumbass jobs takes such fucking energy. Just to get a shitty job at McDonald's, you gotta go to an interview and like, oh, why do you want to work at the corporation? You gotta answer with some bullshit. Because I like to have a challenge, and I like to be always. I like to be of service to team members, and I like to, bitch, I want to work here so I don't be on the fucking street. What kind of dumbass question is that? For me to have to answer in that way, and if I answer in a real way, like I need money so I can survive, just cause that right there is some bullshit, shit that you gotta hop through. Having to like talk to an interviewer like you're doing them some type of convenience or you owe them something where it's not reciprocal. It's not like I have you need, because they'll be like, oh, now hiring. But then when you go to the interview, they're acting like you need them more than them. But it's like, bitch, if nobody was here, then you and your company would lose money. You need employees. But why is it not reciprocal? So even getting a stupid ass job, you gotta like get into that mindset of them draining your energy, and you gotta risk your time and your mental state for all this shit just to appease somebody and like lie to them and act fake and all this dumb shit. It's ridiculous. So anytime you make money, really, there's always some type of risk. And the least risk, I wouldn't even say it's a risk. Even if you're on your spiritual path and you're trying to be passionate, that's a risk too. If anything, that's a bigger risk than making it the traditional way. Because when you finding your passion and your spiritual purpose, you gotta sacrifice things. You gotta sacrifice. There's people who sacrifice multi-million-dollar businesses. They sacrifice desires such as doing things and have to sacrifice family and a lot of things just for them to get on their path to be able to make money through their path and passion. And when you're on your path, it's not even about the money. Because when you focus on the money, then that's when the money doesn't happen. Because when you focus on money so much, even when you do criminal activities, You focus on that's focusing too much on money. You never want to do criminal. You never want to, like, when you do criminal activity. If you're gonna do that to get you to a certain point. You never be a career criminal. You always be like, I'm gonna stack up this amount of money so it can be my cushion, so I can do what I gotta do. And if something goes on, I have this money to fall back on. That's what you do. You never make it as a career because you work so hard to get it. Because when you worry about money so much, the spirit will put you in a situation where that money goes away. Whether that your car breaks down, um, you end up getting sued, you have an expensive house bill like a utility bill, your air conditioner broke, now you got $2,000 missing. Oh, all my savings is gone. You ain't supposed to have no fucking savings like that. Don't get me wrong, you're supposed to have a savings, but you have a savings if you're making money. You don't just exclusively have a savings. Like if you're making $10,000 a month, put 1,000 or 2,000 to the side every month. That's the savings. You're making 8,000, you have 2,000. It's like that's what a savings is for. Not you're doing little menial things and you're just saving up the money and you don't have no goal in mind, or you don't have no income in mind that's greater than a 9 to 5. Because when you do that, then that's when the spirit is going to teach you that you're worried about money too much. Money's supposed to flow. It's not supposed to be stagnated. Like it's just in a fucking spot, or you're saving the money. Because you're eventually the way this matrix is built, it's set up so you don't have a savings for that long. This is why the cars. Why do you think they have a thing called planned obsolescence? Cars break down because when you have a house, your air conditioners, they cost like $7,000 to $15,000 depending on the house you live in and how expensive the air conditioner is. You have an air conditioner that's cost $7,000. Let's just say you're a homeowner and you have a family and you guys both working making $70,000 a year. You guys happen to save $20,000 in like 5 to 10 years. You think you rich? Well, we make $70,000 a year, $20,000. Air conditioner break. That's like $7,000 to $10,000 right there. Car breaks down. That's another 3, 4. Pretty soon that money's gone. The matrix is set up so you have to always be making money, because if nobody's making money, this system is going to collapse. So they have to make everything break down, make everything cheap, make everything in a way where people want to make money, want to buy. So they have the new iPhone come out every year, the new car come out every year. The reason they do this is it gives people the incentive to want to keep making money. So this is why a savings isn't good, because the system is built on you always having to make money. This is why they have taxes on everything. Even if you have $50 million in your bank account, they tax you on that money. You don't just have 50 million in the bank account. You get taxed on that money. This is why millionaires will buy expensive paintings and art, because they'll have a $1 million piece of art. Like you'll say, why does this person buy $1 million Pokemon card or $1 million art piece? That's a waste of money. Some people have so much money, they buy that $1 million paint, and in 5 years that painting's got to be 3 million. But if they kept that 1 million in the bank, they're gonna get taxed on it, and they'll end up owing thousands of dollars on that $1 million, or that 50 million. They'll end up owing money. Versus they bought a painting, and in about 5 years they could cash it in, or whenever they need money, they can what they call liquidate, sell their assets that have value, and get money. So that's what they do. So if you're an artist and you like to draw, create some value in your painting. Maybe if you're a good artist and it's really on your spiritual path, the spirit will create a form where people will pay $10,000 for your painting. You thinking that, oh, maybe I can't do that because who's going to want to buy my painting? You're already doing yourself a disservice. How do you know? So money, that's a program. That's like one of the biggest programs. Because there's no get. They even tell you there's no get rich quick scheme. Because always look at reality. Did you see the average person rich? No, you don't. The average person's broke. The average person's suffering. The average person's on TikTok complaining about the price of a slice of bread. So that's why I'm like, that's the reality of it. Because a lot of these people will tell you, oh, like even some of these financial gurus, they'll be like, oh, it's so easy to make money online. And they're not lying, but it's easy for them because they're in their world, in their frequency. They've tapped into something. So for them, it's easy. So they're not really spiritually inclined to realize that. So what happens is they think it's easy for everyone. But no, nigga, it's just easy for you. Like niggas, like everybody should learn how to be a stock trader and trade the markets because you can print money by just knowing how to read the markets. But it goes deeper than that. Because if that was the case, everyone would be rich. And if everyone was rich and everyone was making money, you better believe the government's going to shut that shit down. Like if too many people are making money in the stock market, there'll be new laws and regulations to make it harder to make money in the stock market. The reason why it's still the same because not that many people are doing it. So even if people were to wake up and start making too much money, the government would change it in a way where and that's what another thing I don't agree. People say money is everybody can be rich, everyone can have money. Everyone can be rich, but you got to understand money is a man-made creation by the Jesuit Jewish faggots. So not everyone can be rich. Like because at the end of the day, once you got to understand, if too many people got rich, they're gonna change the game and change the rules. If too many people got rich, then that means people have financial literacy. So that means a lot of these corporations wouldn't be making money because how would PlayStation, Xbox, Rockstar Games, and all these venues, Marlboro cigarettes, these places that waste people's time and cater to people's desires, how would they make money? A game corporation, their money is solely based on a vast majority of people who use their products not doing shit with their lives. Yeah, you have people who stream. Yeah, you have people who game and got their shit together, but that makes up a very small percentage. Most of the people who make these gaming corporations, who make Marlboro cigarettes rich, who make all these companies rich, is from people doing foolishness. Even Gucci. If if there was no such thing as scamming, drug dealing, cartels, illicit criminal activity, Gucci would drop so much in value because most of the people who purchase Gucci are rappers, people doing criminal activities, scammers, cartels, mafia. The Italian mafia, that's the normal one of the mafias they had in the movie, Italian mafia. Gucci, Versace, that all comes from Italy. They purchased so much of that shit. If all these criminal organizations didn't exist, the value of those companies would just drop. Yeah, you have politicians and NFL stars and people who do buy it, but they don't even buy it as much as people who are criminals. When they make their money, they go all out compared to somebody who makes their money legitimately. They're not willing to go all out as much as a criminal. So, like I said, they have to keep certain things going to allow for like the corporations are solely dependent on fucked up, ignorant behavior, people's lack of knowledge, criminal activity, all these negative things you see. These corporations, they make money off that shit. So it's all catered to. It's all done like in a certain way. Like that's what I'm telling you guys. Like shit's crazy. Man, I take a break right now. I'm talking too damn much. I don't know. I said just seen that somebody just let their kid put that dirty ass bag. This street is so fucking dirty, man. They put that dirty. I don't even like to leave anything like. I don't even like to touch the poles because there's people piss on these shits and they fucking spit. She just put the bag on the ground. Like this place, they're sitting on the benches and shit. I seen a fucking homeless person throw up on those benches. People piss on it. And it's disgusting, and people just touch this shit. Like they don't even know about bacteria. Fucking nasty. Oh man. Somebody says kids get their time stolen to entertainment. Especially, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying with these corporations. Because it's all about money. Because you gotta understand everything is meant for the establishment. When you see the police aren't there to protect you. The police is there to protect the establishment. When they have movies, video games, the movies and video games isn't for your entertainment. They're to protect the establishment by keeping you docile, keeping you distracted. This is why they have to make things expensive. Like they charge $70 for a video game. A lot of you guys say, "Why do you pay $70 for a video game?" And you're just thinking about it like, "Oh, they should just make it free." But why make it free? Because if you make it $70, then the guy who's addicted to video games, he's gonna want to go get 2 jobs. He's gonna want to. There's so many people who work shitty, miserable jobs just so they can get money to buy weed and pay for their subscriptions. So when they're not working, they can at least play their game. So why would they make the game free if all these people just quit and not have no incentive to go and pay for their desires? And they won't be making money off of it. So all of this shit is for the establishment. It's not for you. They don't care about you. Same with the police. If I go and I beat the fuck out of this nigga and he starts bleeding on the street, somebody calls the police. The police take me to jail. You guys may say, "Oh, he's protecting the society from any future people that may get beat." No, they don't give a fuck about people getting beat. Police beat people every day. The government beats your ass with all that GMO and all that radiation. The government doesn't give a fuck about you. Ambulance don't even give a fuck about you. The reason the police, they show up is to protect the capital, the establishment. That person I beat up, he may be a lawyer, he may be a doctor that's paying a certain amount of taxes every year. That's being upholding the system. That child that you just kidnapped, that child could have been somebody as an adult, such as a district attorney, making $250,000 a year. That's upholding the system. It could have been a sheriff. You took that energy away from them. So they need to protect their capital. They need to protect that social security number that they can drain. Even when they have homeless people, in a way they got to protect them because they get money from homeless people. If there's a lot of homeless people in the street, the government can say, "We need $10 million to fight homelessness." They keep 9.5 million and only put a half a million. They made money off the homelessness. They don't, because they don't give shit to homeless. There's no services. There's nothing. They don't give nothing to the homelessness. So, why do you think they get all this money and homelessness is getting worse? There's no services. There's not shit because they don't give nothing. All that money they get from the homelessness, they take all that money and keep from themselves. So it's like I said like I said before, it's all for the establishment. It just, they want you. That's the program and that's the illusion. They want you to think it's for the betterment of humanity, of society. Hell no. That's the trick. They just care about, because you're not even your name. You're not your social security number. This is why they have to summon you to court. This is what I say. Are you? They say they gotta, like, when they address you, they gotta read you your Miranda rights, and you gotta sign a contract because you're not. It's not you. It's not you. They gotta talk to you in a certain way and use all this lingo. When the judge is gonna sentence you, they gotta spend fucking hours deliberating, and they gotta read a whole bunch of shit for hours. It's because they have to do certain shit karmically so it doesn't fuck with them. Because what they're doing isn't right. It's not right to just throw a human being in jail just because you say this law. Oh, you can't. You broke this law. You're going to jail. You can't just do that. So they have to make certain lingo, make certain things so it can, like, and then you agree to it. You sign shit and you're participating in it, and then that's how they're able to do it. Because they can't just do shit. It's not right just to throw somebody. Even if you kill somebody, who the fuck are you to say that I go to jail for killing somebody? Let there be community street justice. Who the fuck is some government and an office like, oh, you're going to jail because you killed somebody? Why can't the person's family handle that? You see what I'm saying? They should handle it. If you can catch the nigga, catch him and handle it. But police and all that, they ain't for you. An ambulance, you see an ambulance going, and they're like, oh, get out the ambulance quick. They're trying to help the guy. Seconds matter. They don't care about that nigga. They just care about, like what I said earlier. They care about that social security number. If that social security number dies, they'll make money off his death, but they're not gonna make money. They need to keep him revived. This is why suicide is illegal. When you go to jail, they take suicide because if you kill yourself in jail, that's less money that that prison system is gonna get. Through funding, they make a certain amount of money off each prisoner. If that prisoner is dead, they're not gonna make no money off it. So they don't want you killing yourself. That's why they have a suicide blanket. Because it's not that they care about you, it's just they're going to lose money. The people who work at that prison, the lady who gave you the suicide blanket, she thinks it's to help you, but she's a puppet. But the people who create the whole system, their main focus, we can't have this person die because we want to extract energy from him. Our prison's going to lose $100,000 a day if this nigga dies. We'll be only to make $90,000 off his death because they make money off your suicide, but we only make $90,000 off his death. But we can make $100,000 per day. If he's here for 10 years, all the money we get. And then now all the people who have their money in the prison system, all the investors, their money goes up more. That's all they care about. When a nigga ambulance, they drive in an ambulance, they just care to make sure that nigga's alive. So they can keep him alive, then they could take him to the hospital, and then they could do an expensive procedure on him to keep him. Oh, and they're like, oh, we're gonna revive. We use a what's the umbilical cord? Not the umbilical, the shit that revives the heart. We revived him. We gave him some medicine. We put some IV in his fucking vein. That'd be $100,000. But if he died, they couldn't do that. They couldn't bill him. So it's all about money. Because a human being is an energy source. It's like it's an energy, and they don't want that energy source to be severed and gone. Because they can't get energy from it no more. The hospital won't get as much money. The prison system won't get as much funding. So they don't care about you at all. Everything is about money, business. Why do you think sometimes you'll see stories where the police take a long time to get there? Or the doctor did some malpractice. And you're like, that's fucked up. They should have saved that lady. Sometimes it's not about money. Sometimes what happens is it's more beneficial to let the police get away with a murder, or the police don't stop the crime, or it's more better to let this person die so we can make a narrative about it. So, and then you guys will say, oh, Trayvon Martin, he got killed and the guy didn't go to jail. Because at the end of the day, the police isn't there for you. The police, this is why you see cases like Trayvon Justice, he doesn't go to jail. The guy didn't go to jail. And you guys say, oh, they should have threw him in jail. But that's not what the court system isn't for justice. It's for what I said about money and the keeping you in check. The court system is to protect the corporation and protect the companies, the establishment. It's the security guards of the system. When you get out of line, that shit is supposed to put you in check. It's not to protect you. This is why you have people like that Zimmerman, he's still out. And people get upset, but they don't understand the police isn't meant to help you. The police, they only help you when it's to their convenience. If they know they can use a narrative to make it better, then they're not going to help you. They're going to be like, you know what, fuck this. Let's just let this guy get away with it. And then people get upset. Oh, the police aren't doing their job. No, they are doing their job. They're doing what the system and the establishment wants. The establishment and the system didn't want him to go to jail, so he didn't go to jail. See what I'm saying? This is why you see. This is why some cases you see that are unfair, unjustly. But then you'll see ones that are just, and then it makes you think that, oh, the system is fair. It ain't fair. It ain't shit. It even shows you Libra has a balance. You go into the court, they have the Mayat, the bitch with the blindfold, and it's balanced. The justice system is balanced. Sometimes Sometimes the criminals do a horrible act. Like you'll see somebody kill somebody and rape children. They only get 3 years in probation. Sometimes it'll be somebody, he just stole a candy bar. He gets 50 years, 1,000 years. It's that equilibrium, that Libra, that Maya. It's that balance. The justice system isn't justice like you guys think it is. It's not justice at all. That's why I say I don't fuck with this system. I don't. Last time I remember the police trying to talk to me like he's all cool. I don't ever disrespect police, but I don't talk to them. I remember it was years ago. They had caught me stealing some shit, and it was a police, but it was an off duty, and they didn't. All he did was just they gave me a sign not to go back there again, and they were trying to joke around with me like, "Oh, you took in this? You got the expensive one." And I don't get disrespectful. I just don't talk to me. I have the energy like do what you got to do. Follow your orders. Follow the procedure. Do what you got to do. I'm not your friend. I'm not gonna act like you're an enemy. You're an enemy. I'm not gonna give you that energy because it doesn't need to be like that. Just do what you got to do. I don't gotta say shit to you and leave it at that. But it is what it is. Damn, this shit's 3 hours. Already 1 in the afternoon. Damn, that's crazy. This is supposed to be like a small 30-minute video, to be honest. This shit got really deep. But I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to join before I head out. If anybody got any more questions or not even questions, just anything that I can like, just whatever. Somebody say if you can't make money online 2004, you're finished. I wouldn't agree with that 100%. It's not even a don't make making money online your focus. Just make make the spiritual work. Doing what you got to do. Make that your purpose. That's what I. If you don't make that your purpose, then in 2024 onwards, then you're finished. Doing the shadow work, doing what you got to do, knowing self, making the sacrifices, putting in the hours, doing the shadow work, all of that work that we all need to do. That's the new currency. That's the new 9 to 5. If you work at a 9 to 5, when you clock out of that bitch, you need to be working on self. Once you do that, you're gonna see everything just line up. It's just gonna flow. But it's not gonna be easy. You have to put time and energy. You have to go through hell. And it's gonna get to a point where by the time things start working, you won't even know it's working. Like it'll be because the way life worked, by the time like me when I was depressed, I had anxiety back in 2012. It was so bad. I used to think of all the days when my anxiety and depression would go away. And when I look at it now, I'm nowhere near where I was 2012. Even when I started doing yoga in 2021, I'm nowhere near where I was. 2021, when I started doing yoga, I had fucking headaches. I had a lot of problems. I had a lot of Tourette's and stuttering. I just had a lot of problems and issues. Now I'm like, I'll say 85 to 90% better than I was then. Not 100, but I don't even think I'll ever be 100 because we're always that percent. But I just say from 85 to 95%. And I don't even remember how I was back in 2021. I don't remember. All I remember is I'm gonna do yoga. I'm gonna fast, do my what I gotta do, and I'm gonna be in a better mindset. And I'll be, and then like now it's like I'm there, but it's like I'm a different person. So when you're on the spiritual path, don't think like it's gonna just happen overnight. It's gonna be a slow process. Just like when you were 5 years old and you were 5. Now you're 29, 30, 21. You don't. You don't remember how it was to be a 5-year-old. You remember, but you don't like it was such a slow process. You don't like, did you see yourself in the mirror grow up? No. Spirituality, spiritual growth is the same process. It's just like growing from a 5-year-old to a 30-year-old. There's certain things you did at 5 you don't do at 30. But such a slow process that it's just normal to you. Like being a 30-year-old, being a 20-year-old, whatever age you are, is normal. You don't think like I was just 5 yesterday. No, it's the same with spiritual growth. True spiritual growth, not no fake spiritual growth. Because true spiritual growth is growth that takes time and is slow and it's over time and you got to put in work and hours. So by the time you get to that growth, you don't even like you're a different person. Because where you want to be at, you're not going to be the person you are right now. Right now, you're not the person you're supposed to be. So when you get there, you're going to be a different person. So it's going to be hard for you to look back at yourself right now and see why you did the things you did. Like there's certain things right now that you do that is very low vibrational. When you heal, you're not going to be able to understand why you did it. You're like, why the fuck did I do that? I ate that. I was doing that. You will, because the process is it's such a slow metamorphosis. It's not overnight. It's a slow metamorphic process. That nigga got the same car I got, I think. But it's crazy. Yeah, I probably gotta end up having to go real soon, guys. Yeah, I could talk for hours on this shit. Probably good that people don't leave that, because if people left too many comments, I'll probably be on this bitch for like hours. I have a lot of topics to bounce off on. Because me, when I see a topic, then that's when like, because me, I'm like like when I see something, that's when like it hits me. Like if I see a situation, that's one way I get a lot of knowledge. Like something will happen to me, and then I'll start knowing shit. Like somebody may leave a certain comment, and I'll start knowing shit. Like I learned. That's how I learn is by experiencing. And then when a situation presents himself, then that's when like my knowledge just starts flooding, and I come up with scenarios on how to attack it. That's how my mind works. Like when I see something happen, I could come up with a million things how to decipher it and what's it about. It's weird. That's how I could talk for hours and shit, and I don't even really need like no writing blueprint and writing shit down. Which I am going to start writing shit down so I can stay more focused and not go all over the place. I do need to write so there's certain things I want to talk about in a certain manner, and yep. Yeah, and then there's a cash app if anybody wants to donate. Everybody put in generous and shit. There's the cash app. Shout out to Jay Vass and everyone out there who supports the channel. Yeah. But I think I'm gonna end this live stream, guys. It was a good live stream. I'll probably be back on a little bit later or try tomorrow. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna be out. Peace.